Good evening. How are we all going? Hi, Warc here. I just have to do that just for the fun of it. Okay, welcome. Welcome to Warc on Wednesdays. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn off that light for a second because it washes everything out and makes me look odd. How's everyone going? May the 4th be with you. It is indeed Star Wars Day, and of course, I've got one of my Star Wars t-shirts on today, just for the fun of it. I hope everyone's having a good time. I heard that a bunch of my first students, so the people I taught when I first turned up to UNSW, graduated today. So I hope that people had a good time. I did see some photos. Someone actually pinged me on Facebook, sent me a Facebook message saying, "Are you coming to the graduation?" And I was like, "Oh, I haven't been invited, so I don't think I am." I didn't notice until the afternoon anyway, because I think it was like, well, obviously UNSW wouldn't invite me. It's kind of weird for me to like be part of the academic procession when I'm not an academic there. And I think that anyone who's like got their own tickets is probably going to be using those tickets with their with their family and stuff like that. So I thought it was just like, oh well, good to see. Great to see that people are graduating, and that was like that'll be the first batch of people who met me in 2019. So if those people have done their absolute minimum amount of a degree at UNSW, they would have graduated now. Actually, some other people who've learned from me have graduated already because like they don't necessarily take my POM 1511 course as the very first thing they do at uni. So other people have graduated already, but I think this is the first batch of people who are on their way out into the world, and they took my class as like their first class. Told you didn't come to my lectures. Wait, were you in Andrew's lectures, or were you too cool for school and didn't go to lectures at all? Also, hello everyone who's here. Hello Dodo, who I assume is here, who's here before I was, so maybe is here at the moment. Dongshu's here, Jack's here, Hamish, Dean, Sulux. Oh yeah, Dodo is here. Chewy's here. Oh, you went to Andrew's. I mean, Andrew's good, right? I think he still teaches a lot of stuff there. Like teaches 1521 and things like that. But I guess it's different. It's different because like um, I taught in a different way, and I assume that I teach with more shits and giggles than Andrew does. He's less likely to just kind of stop in the middle of it and go, "Oh, you know what? You know this whole education thing. You know it's all bullshit, right? We all know it's bullshit, but we can get a lot out of it nonetheless." I assume that he doesn't do that. It's like his lifelong profession. He's not going to bullshit as much as I am. Oh, oh, that's good. Oh, wow. I think it's because Jack and Dean are here. I've actually got mods on the channel at the moment. I was just about to like, Hamish. They were like, "Ooh, they saw a dirty word in your comment," and YouTube tried to block it, but it's alright. The others let it through. He gives good dating advice. That's quite funny because I'm pretty sure that Andrew has one or more children who are around your age, like current uni student age, which is pretty funny. Ah, yeah, cool. So I think like a lot of people who worked for me as tutors are still mods of this channel. Oh, did you see Chicken? I just saw Chicken for a second there. Where are you going, Chicken? She just walked past the camera. Oh no, she's coming here to me. Hello. Hello. You gonna come up and say hi? Sometimes she just gets a bit nervous around the chair. Come on, hop up. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes she just looks at me. She's just sitting down there looking at me, looking at the side of my chair, which she can jump up onto. Oh, there she is. Hello. You say hi to everyone. Let's just move this camera over here. Yeah. Just getting things out of the way. There we are. How's it going? You want to say hi to everyone? Yep, there we are. She likes it here where she can just sit on my chair next to me because she gets like a bit of a warm leg to lean on and she gets pats for free. Everyone's excited about chicken. G'day, Alex. May the 4th be with you also. Hello, Antarctican. How's it going? Yeah. So today, I was, I was very tempted. People were saying I should do some Lego Star Wars, the new Lego Star Wars game, which is supposed to be heaps of fun. But I haven't got it yet, and I was probably going to get it on Switch instead of PC, so that I can just like play couch co-op with my partner or with anyone else who wants to play, that kind of thing, rather than getting it on PC and then everyone having to buy a copy of it just to play it. And I don't have an HDMI capture card. I remember like thinking of getting one ages ago, but I don't know. Don't know if I want to spend that much money on one. Oh, Michael graduated today. Congratulations. I hope you had fun. Looks like it was an in-person graduation as well, because I saw some people taking photos on campus and stuff like that, so hopefully you had fun with it. University was officially over. For everyone, not just you, Mike. Everyone. It's closed. Thank you very much. It's been fun. Well, it's over for me too, so I guess that's most of us now. Nathan's graduating tomorrow. Oh, Jack couldn't make it. Oh, you had your potential graduation today, Jack, was it? Or something like that? That'd be pretty cool. I would have fun graduating on May the 4th. I would have had more fun if I'd been in the academic procession on May the 4th, because I would have won a lightsaber. Oh, Jack, you have 3 more years left? Wait, what degree? You must be doing some kind of big degree, right? And you have COVID. Oh no. When did you pick it up? Wait, was that last week? Did you say you had COVID last week? Or was that someone else? No, someone else tested positive last week, I think. Yeah, Michael's like 3 years is your entire degree again. Yeah, totally. I mean, like I did my degree over 5 years, so but I did an engineering degree, so it was going to be 4 years anyway, and then I'm loose, so it was 5 years, and I had a lot more fun. I stayed at uni doing like society and theater and all this kind of stuff for another like, what am I thinking, 4 years after that. So I think I was one of those people who was just like, oh, real life sounds real boring, so I've got other stuff I want to do. I'm going to do that instead. TLDR, everyone has COVID. I had a really funny situation. I was playing some miniatures games with friends, and we sat down at a table, we're having dinner, and we looked around the table and said, who here's had COVID? And everyone at the table hadn't had COVID. There was 6 of us, and no one had COVID. And we were like, wow, that's actually quite rare nowadays, because I think the number of cases that have happened particularly in New South Wales, is like, I can't remember, but it's over like 30-40% of the population now. Jack, yeah, you're saying your degree was 5 years, but you're taking it a little slower. Fair enough. I don't think doing any degree in the minimum amount of time is ever the least stressful way to do it, right? And if you've got other things you want to do, you want to focus on things other than purely full-time academic study, it's quite a good idea to extend it out a bit longer. You actually get, you tend to, don't know if it works for everyone, but for me, definitely, I got higher marks when I was doing less than a full load of subjects. Peter's saying theatre, yeah. So I did a lot of stuff with the reviews on campus, and then I also did just general theatre stuff on campus, which was like things like Nuts and what was it like? I did arts review when it happened once. I mean, like that's kind of just more reviews, but it felt like it felt like a theater show more than a big variety show. The way the reviews are. I'm just gonna put Chicken's camera back over here in case. Where are you, Chicken? Down there. She's just sitting down there. That's not really one of her favorite spots, though, because I'm sure she'll move from there in a second. But I'll follow her around. Oh, you know what I need is like one of those really, really funky automatic swivel tripod mounts, and write some chicken tracking software so that it follows her around when she moves. It's actually reasonably hard to do. Oh, did anyone ever see, like, they used to have that in the lecture theaters? And I remember one of the lecture theaters I taught in, I watched the recording afterwards, and it was like, here's a picture of you and a picture of your slides, and it was like, the picture of me is the wall. The lecturer tracking software is completely lost where I am, and the camera's just gone me up onto the side wall, and it's like, that's like, I don't know, there should be some kind of bounds of impossibility of where there can't be a lecturer, and the auto camera's probably supposed to not go there. But, it's always fun. So Jack's like, computer engineering with extra steps. Oh, computer science and elec eng, someone was saying? Oh no, that was a question from Alex. Right. And Alex is transferring from computer engineering into a combined elec eng. And that's cool. Dongju saying, easy to not get COVID if I don't go outside. I've started going outside again. I'm like, if I get COVID, I accept it. I'm triple vaccinated, so I hope for the best. It's not always the best way to think about it. There you go. Chicken's taking her spot in her favorite rocking chair there. It's funny how Chicken's favorite spots move around my room depending on like what furniture we bring in. Like we get some new furniture and Chicken decides, oh, this is mine now. So this chair that is in here because my partner was like, how do I hang out with you when you're at your computer and stuff? I just want to like hang out while you're doing things and stuff, or say hi. And so she got this chair and put it in here, and then Chicken immediately claimed it. And it's just like, well, it's not your chair anymore. It's Chicken's now. It's pretty funny. Yeah, Dongju, until someone in your household gets COVID. Oh, I was joking with my partner who's away at the moment. She's off on a conference that she has to take a rat test or I won't let her back inside the house. It's not a joke. It is a bit. But, it's kind of like if you are going to get COVID, you want to kind of make it back home before you're sure that you have it. So that you don't have to isolate somewhere else when you're off in the conference. You can just isolate once you're back home. But I'm like, yeah, but then I'm here and I'm clean, although I don't even know if I am. People are discussing my haircut. Peter is. Short mohawk is what Michael is describing it as. I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a mullet as well. This is the kind of haircut that I've been sporting for quite a few years now, on and off. And it really depended on when I could get a haircut. So I've had it like this, but with a really long fringe at one point. I think that was like 2020 when I was teaching. I managed to sneak in a haircut. And then it grew out massively during the second lockdown, during the Delta lockdown, and it was just shaggy. But this is the way I like to keep it. I like to just kind of buzz off the sides. But I don't mind having the long bit at the back. That's fun. It's a bit messy at the moment. I mean, I could put product in it all the time to make it look cool and spike it up and stuff, but I haven't been doing that. Maybe I should do that on stream. If like once a week I'm going to go on camera, I should do my hair and makeup properly, but like I kind of can't be bothered. Also, a lot of this stream's not even going to be my face once we switch over to the hobby stream. What are we up to? John Cena. This is so funny because I'm never going to know what your actual name is or who you are. But how hard is doing 2 comp sci courses in one term? It's not that hard. It depends on which ones, though, and where you're at with them. So if you're well on top of things and you're taking courses that are kind of below your current level. So courses that you have to take to build up foundation knowledge to then do something harder later. You can probably take 2 of them quite easily. But if you go pushing to your limits and you go, okay, this is the hardest thing I could possibly do, and these are the advanced courses or advanced versions of courses, and you take 2 of them at once, you're like, okay, maybe that was a mistake. You see that happen a lot with people where they take like 3 comp courses at once and they take some hard ones. But you don't really know how hard it is until you start poking at it. And then you just kind of go, all right, too hard. Back off, drop down to 1 or 2 courses. So I think that's how it works. It's always going to be a matter of figuring out what you can handle, knowing that courses are not consistent. Right? Every course is a community unto themselves. You'll have sometimes tutors cross over and teach multiple courses, but even when they're doing that, the tutors have no control over how difficult the course is going to be. The lecturers who don't really get time to talk to each other because they're all kind of either busy or overworked, and they're always doing something else. They don't have time to really sit down and go through each other's courses with a fine-tooth comb and go, ooh, are we matching up, or are we pitching the difficulty correctly, or that kind of thing, right? So it's not something that that you're going to be able to kind of say one course is as hard as another. It's better to talk to people who've done the courses, done multiple courses, and go, do you think this one was harder than this one? And why? Because some people were like, I got the hang of it by the time I got to this course, so it was easy. And someone else is going to be like, no, this course is objectively harder than that one. You just picked it up, So, like, I think those conversations can be really handy in figuring out how to pitch your own difficulty level if you start really chopping and changing and customizing how your course is going to go. I actually think people don't have a choice, right? You have to chop and change and decide how your course is going to go. Like, there's no standard flow that you can just drop in a level 2 elective here and a level 4 elective here or whatever, because even that doesn't tell you how hard they're going to be. Hello, graphics. I can laugh about it now because I'm not getting paid to do it anymore. But graphics for the next time it runs, there's a lot of notes on how it should change. I left it with the tutors. We'll see if the next lecturer talks to them about it or not. We'll see. What do we got? Dean's never even taken a COVID test. Wow. That's either you're incredibly healthy and you've had no symptoms the whole time, which I think is quite possible. If you're in lockdown, it's not like you can get the flu either, so it's totally possible. I'm amazed that you've never even taken a test. And your hair is 20 centimeters longer. That's cool. Just growing it out. Dongju AOS. Yeah, AOS is the famous one. It's hard, but I think AOS is like a From Software hard. If I can use a gaming metaphor with everyone, anyone who knows like the From Software games like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, the Souls-like genre that was made by that company, basically. Super, super hard games, but understandably hard, not randomly hard, punishingly difficult in a way that you understand when you've made mistakes and you understand what you could do about it. I feel like AOS is that, which is why it's one of those courses that everyone understands that you're going to take a wham hit to take the course, but they want to take it because it's worthy. So some games you're just going to get punished, but you do it because it's worthy. And I think AOS gets that reputation. Obviously, I haven't taken the course because, it'd be weird for me to go sit in the course, and I don't have time to do that anyway. But it's a cool reputation, right? I think you get like AOS has got a reputation like it's Dark Souls kind of thing, and like Com 1511 gets a reputation like it's Animal Crossing. So it's like a different thing, right? Like when I did 1511, it was trying to be welcoming, show people this amazing world that they could take part in, and then like slowly open up the possibilities as we go along. Whereas AOS is like, you're going to lose all the fights, but by the end of the course, you might win some of them, and by doing that, you will actually get better at doing things. Yeah. So Edel's saying, "Hi, Edels, how's it going?" Well, I've got a lot of different people showing up tonight. That's kind of cool. You did 2521 and 1521 in term 2 as a first year, and it was a killer because you were doing a maths course at the same time. But it was your highest WAM semester, so it hurt. but maybe it pushed you to a level that you liked to be at. So some people thrive under pressure. Some people like there are a bunch of us out there, because I think I'm one of them as well, where when the workload drops below a certain point, we get complacent and we get bored and we work less. Like we're actually less useful. And when it's above a certain level that can stress out other people, that's the only time that we get enough of a rise to really start like hammering into things. It's nearly like some people, depending on what you like and things, have more of an emergency mindset than a maintenance mindset. Like a maintenance mindset is, you know, things have to happen regularly, and so you do them and stuff. You know, people are really regular with what they do. They get up at a regular time, and they I love it. I'm trying to find examples of it because I don't understand it. It's not me. But they got regular time schedules, and they do things, you know, like once a week they do this thing and other things and stuff like that. And they're very, very capable of keeping up something, whereas some other people are not as good at keeping up something, but when the pressure's on, they can work for 30 hours straight. I think more people are going to fit into that category than we expect. Like I'm good in an emergency, but I'm kind of useless in everyday life. Yeah, so maybe Edel's was a bit like that. So Peter was saying second year student taking extended operating systems, extended security, extended algos. Oh my god. Not you, but you saw someone else do it. That's a little bit scary. And John Cena says, your sample scheme, I just laugh at your name every time because it's funny. Sample scheme says do 1521 and 2521 together. Friends told me they want to kill themselves doing 2521 alone. Well, if there's one subject that makes you want to like not do it, there's not much choice. Like you can't just not do any other subjects unless you decide to really stack up other terms and set aside for that one. But it might not be a level of difficulty thing. It might be like just the way the subject flows is awkward or something like that, and it makes it feel like it's more fiddly than it really is. I don't know if that's the case with 2521. Obviously, you know, I haven't done any of these subjects. I'm just listening to the reputations that they've built up around the place. Oh, Michael, it was you doing the, what was it? Extended operating systems. Is it EOS or AOS? Anyway, extended security and extended. Oh no, extended operating systems is the extended of the first course, and then advanced operating systems is the second course. Right? I think I got it there. That was Michael, but it was pass fail at the time, so you got away with that one. So there's more of you here who have an OS exam tomorrow, and you're watching me instead. Maybe we should talk about some operating systems. I wonder if my knowledge of operating systems is entirely out of date now. EOS, yeah. As Michael's saying, EOS is operating systems, the extra steps, and AOS is the pain one. That's the one where it's like, we expect you've basically got an HD in EOS before you even enroll in this other subject. Whittle down a course of 1,000 people to about 50 to 100 diehards, which means that you're basically saying HD or above, and those of you are now going to get punished further. Oh, Michael, yes, to have graduated. I remember at one point just saying, I am never doing another exam again in my life. I'm done. I'm over it and stuff. And then I went back to do my PhD, and I was like, oh, you have to do some courses during a PhD to, like, you know, round out your education. And I was like, okay, here's a list of all the CSE courses. I will now cross out all of them that have an exam. Now I need to choose 2 from what's left. I was like, nah, not getting involved with them again. And then I ended up fucking writing them and running a whole bunch of them. Why did I even become a lecturer? Oh, by the way, a whole bunch of Sydney Uni staff are going on strike this week. The school teachers went on strike today, so as you can see, the education industry in Australia is just going real great. I'm pretty happy to have left. I think I left at a good time, and I left on my own terms. But I do feel for people that can't just kind of walk away. Like, for me, it was easy, because I was like, well, it wasn't. wasn't even remotely easy. But I could walk away knowing that I can get a tech job. There's plenty of teachers that just don't have any other training. They are teachers and they're committed to that career. And I think it's going to be a lot harder for them. So I'm really kind of hoping that this kind of action leads to government and universities actually taking care of their staff, because UNSW certainly doesn't. And I feel like there's some industrial action just around the corner for UNSW for the way that they've been treating their staff over the last few years. And Sydney Uni's obviously copying it right now, which they deserve. And the Department of Education, I don't know if the Department of Education is the problem, or it's the way that the government is defunding them that's the problem. But the school teachers on strike at the moment. Hopefully, they get something good out of that. Yeah, actually, what do we got? Heard from a maths teacher, Michael, saying, the last straw came when my son, recent graduate of engineering, was offered his first graduate position with a salary that matched mine. Well, that is, after I'd taught for over 20 years. Yeah, was that me? I had a chat with one of my students, someone who had tutored for me, so, someone who I knew pretty well and stuff. Had a chat with them and talked about their first job offer that they'd gotten. And it wasn't like a primary kind of first pick job. I know a lot of you out there managed to get internships with companies and get offered a job well before you graduated and things like that. Or like, I remember one of my students was like, had two companies fighting over them. Had like Atlassian and Canva both try to hire them. And they ditched them both to go do a PhD. And I was like, oh, good luck. Can't say I recommend that at all. But good luck. And I think for the people who want to do it, it's totally the right thing. And there's very few people that just genuinely want to do stuff like academic research, though. But yeah. So I sat down with one of these students and I talked to them about the first offer. So it was a separate company. It wasn't one of the big. Yeah, you know who it is, Michael. I'm not going to say who they are because, they're a great person and I care a lot about them. And I think that they will probably do well. But yeah, I talked to them and they were getting roughly 20% higher salary than I was as a grad offer. And we didn't even count the stock options in that. So they were given stock options on top of that. Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? And I was like, at the same time, I was like losing sleep, constantly stressed out, and I was like, never able to comfortably meet the deadlines the uni was giving us for Mark's referral. And there was like thousands of emails that I just basically never answered from important things. Like, like people like, okay, we've got this special consideration thing and we need to put this into the system to make sure that they're going to be looked after and stuff. And it was like, I just never even replied. I was like, shit, okay, put that on the pile with like the 50 other cases that we need to work on. And I'll do them all in a batch and I'll put them all in the system. And I never even got a chance to reply to these people to tell them that, yeah, it's okay. Your special considerations are obviously fine. We'll give you these extensions that you need. Every now and then when there were like difficult cases where people had a lot of stuff, a lot of help they needed, I would be like, okay, let's actually give you some time. And I always knew that when I was helping that one person, that there was probably about 40 or 50 other people who really actually did need my attention at that time. But yeah, numbers were very, very, very tough. Yeah. people know who I'm talking about. I wish them the greatest luck. And that's like, they were someone that I worked quite close with and was a really great tutor, that person. But I don't want to say people's names because it's kind of like, even if everything I'm saying is positive about someone, if they're not here, it's a bit weird to really be talking about. John Cena says, sounds like UNSW treats their teaching staff a fuck ton worse than their casual helpers. I don't know. Like, okay, so imagine you have a casual job, but you have to reapply for it every 3 months. So you don't get regularity. You have to reapply every 3 months, and when that happens, you may or may not get it because your boss might simply not be offering work in 3 months' time. They might be nice. They might be nice and talk to other lecturers and say, "Hey, this person's really good. Can you make sure they get work?" But as I said, we didn't have time to do that, so we probably didn't. Um, uh, you may have to actually try to build a reputation or just a relationship with multiple lecturers so that you could make sure you had jobs in multiple terms, and then you'd have the same thing happening where once you'd built up that relationship so that you had a year's worth of work, they would then get moved around in their timetables and they'd clash, and then you'd have like 2 offers in one term, which you can't really take if you're trying to study, and then nothing the term after. So it's really unstable. Like, as much as like people talk about casual tutoring as being good work because you get paid well and you kind of get to study while you work because you will be reinforcing things that you've learned before by teaching them, you still, like, in terms of as casual jobs, like, you can't just get sort of like, well, you can, but you're much less likely to be just dropped constantly with that level of regularity in another casual job. If you're reasonably good at another casual job, you'll be able to stay in there for like a year or two. You don't have to keep reapplying every few months. And having it just kind of dry up, it's like over summer, it's like, oh, we'll go get another job. There's just no work in this field over summer. It's like, hope you saved up some money because you've there is no income in those other months. So I don't know. I think that, yeah, it can be pretty good. Also looks pretty good on your CV if you were one of, because we only hire like what 5-10% of the student population to teach at CSE, so it's a very small number of people. So it looks good on your resume because you were selected amongst people, but it's not really what you hire for. Like, if we're only hiring tech managers, then we'll look at whether they taught or not. But like, it's not actually correlating with your academic capability of whether you're able to teach. Like, I'd hire people who are academically, like, objectively, you could look at their marks compared to some other people in the course and go, this other person's definitely better than them academically, but this person can communicate the academic ideas better. Like, I actually needed people who had, like, failed at things, because you can't really teach if everything's easy for you. Like, if you're the best at everything and everything's easy for you, it's really, really hard to talk someone through who doesn't get it. Whereas if you're someone who totally didn't get it and picked it up along the way, it's much easier to talk it through. So it's nearly like my best hires were people who are like, should I even be teaching for you, Mark? And it's like, shut up and take the job. I actually had a few people where I'm just like, I need you to take this job. And they're like, no, I can't take it. And I was like, God damn it, just fucking take this. It's like, you shut up. I know whether you're a good teacher or not. Take the job. But they were like, no, I don't want to do it. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It's pretty funny. John Cena gets paid like 50 an hour just to slap some little title cards on law videos. Cybele? What does Cybele mean? I don't know. Nathan saying heard getting into CSE tutoring is all about connections with lecturers. I would say a lot of it is. I mean, I hired plenty of people who I had no connection with, but that's because I was teaching 1511. So how do they have time to make a connection? But with a lot of other courses, it's like, do really well in the course, get noticed by the lecturer, and then you'll probably get picked up. So it's often the tutors. Even it's like, what were you like in tutorials, whether you get picked up for being a tutor, that kind of thing. Dean saying 100% agree. No chance of a teacher having empathy for struggling students if they always get HD marks and never fail. Yeah, I mean, you could always get HD marks, never fail, and have the ability like to know the struggle, because you can get it through other things, like knowing that you had no idea how to do something. That's why nearly all the time I try to teach teachers to do something they're shit at. So all you got to do is like find something that you have no idea how to do and try to do it, and then you'll kind of put yourself back in that learner perspective where you're like, I've got no idea, I don't know what the framework is I'm working in, and try to build it up. Michael is asking, how much nepotism is there in CSC or UNSW? That's a good question. I don't know. I think that there's a lot. I mean, like, even, if I hired someone, like, I didn't fire anyone in my 3 years. And you consider the number of people I worked with. I had about, like, a rolling team of about 30 tutors, and then people came and went depending on the term to make that kind of 50 staff at a time. And as amazing as you are, and as amazing as the cohorts that UNSW CSE are, there is no chance that everyone there should have kept their jobs the whole way through. There should have been some filtering. I should have been poking at people and finding out who was good and who was bad at it and replacing people. You just don't get that number of people and have everyone just succeeding all the time. But I still never did. Because once I got to know people, I was like, yeah, they'll be fine. But I guess, I don't know, maybe that's different. Because I kind of like have this thing where like, if I've already decided that I think that someone could teach and I think they could get good at it, then I'm happy to pay them while they get good at it. So they can be quite bad at it. This is real awkward, right? Because if you're in their tutorial, you're noticing that they're bad at it. But like, they can get good at it. That's usually what I'm hiring for. But then, so yeah, there was probably a lot of that. And then there was probably a lot of like, after I vetted these people and trained them for a bit, then anyone would hire them within CSE, because it was easier to hire someone who had been through one of the sort of teacher training courses. A lot of the bigger, lower number courses are going to feed tutors into the other courses. Some of that, but sometimes tutors get picked up just because they do well in the subject. So yeah, I think there may have been a lot of nepotism, like in terms of like, we knew certain students. So like, if I would talk to other lecturers and mention a student, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know that person, And you consider how many people there are at CSE, several thousand. I don't know how many there are at a time, but I would assume that in terms of like the kind of cohort of CSE students, we're talking about 5,000 people. So if you start to know individuals, that's basically nepotism. Like, it's not entirely, but it basically is, because once you start knowing and recognizing those individuals, you're by implication rejecting another kind of 2,000 people who you didn't notice. And whether you noticed them or not, was that a real notice based on their merit and their capability, or was it just that they happened to be in the right place at the right time? I never hired anyone directly out of societies or anything, though. There you go. So I never hired anyone specifically out of Genshin Soc, because that would have been super dodgy. So I never did that. What other societies did I hang out with? Minecraft Soc. I never hired anyone specifically out of Minecraft Soc either. So you'll see that all the executives of those societies, none of them got a kickback from me, even though I played games with them and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Nicole just woke up from your nap. Probably going back to the nap. Please send best regards to Darth Warc. Darth Warc accepts your regards. May the 4th be with you. How are you going, Nicole? Because I remember you got your positive COVID diagnosis test last week, so I assume you're in the thick of it now and you're just kind of resting. Hopefully that's good. Don't you saying, do the tutors look at the tutors my experience at all when rehiring? Yeah, we do. Every now and then I would look at anyone who wasn't getting amazing my experience, or I'd look at people who were getting amazing in my experience, and then I'd have a look at what they were doing and stuff. I had funny times as well, actually, because I remember there was like 1 or 2 tutors, and we were worried about them because their communication back to admin and lecturer was really awkward or non-existent and stuff. So what's going on with that person? Like, I need to see what's happening. And so like, I would poke in sometimes, or I'd send someone to poke in and check their online teaching, or I'd check their my experience and stuff. So it was one of these people who I was like, what's going on? They are not communicating properly. And then I poked in and I said, oh, they're a really good teacher. That's really awesome. I'm really great. I hired them and stuff. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. They just don't communicate in an admin level very well. And I'm like, well, I can totally empathize with that because I don't either. But the job that they're doing, which is the important part of the job, is being done really, really well. So I was just like, yeah, good. I'm going to put a tick next to their name. I'm going to keep rehiring them. They're fine. So I get that, like with different people. So I will look at what's going on, but sometimes, like, I never really saw like a really big issue that I needed to like cull someone for or anything like that. Yeah. Michael saying persistent thing from startup founders that get big is they regret not firing some people sooner. I think companies that grow very much, they definitely have issues. Because it's not necessarily the same skill set. Like working in a startup is about grabbing lots of different jobs at once and doing them all. Especially in small startups, you got less than 10 people. Then there's like one person who is like the HR department, the marketing department, and middle management all in one person. And then someone else is like the CTO or something like that. But whether those people, once it gets bigger, can go from managing half a dozen people to managing 100 people is a very, very different game. Because it's kind of like you're no longer tactical, you become strategic, right? So it's hard because if they were there from the beginning with the startup, you want to give them the good jobs because they deserve it, because they were there when it was hard, but they may not be capable of doing it. And I think that's one of the problems you get when a company shifts its mode, in a sense. It goes from being one thing to being something else. And you still want to make sure that those people are rewarded and fulfilled and things like that, but you may end up pushing them into things that they have no idea how to do. So, really tough. I can understand that. Michael saying, caveat that being the people they should have fired were managers, not grunts. So them being bad at their job negatively impacts many, many people. Yeah, and I think that's definitely the case. Or they were grunts, and they were happy and very, very good grunts. And then they were pushed into management because no one else was there at the time. Like, you can be really, really good at leading 3 or 4 people, and you can be really, really bad at leading 20 to 30 people. Because it's a slightly different skill set, and it's easy to not be able to do one or the other of those. Yeah. So it's tough. Nathan saying, bet they only hire people who fill out all their My Experience surveys. Oh, no, we can't see that. We can't see whether you filled out My Experience. We can only see the My Experience responses that have been filled out for a person. As in, I can look at one of my tutors and I can see that they got like higher ratings than me in their teaching feedback and stuff like that. And I'll be like, sweet, you're going back into the pool for next term. And like, you're going to be one of the people I will put a new tutor in with you. So they will learn from you how to teach, like that kind of thing. So, I don't get to see whether they have filled out My Experience surveys or not. Like, we're never actually going to check that kind of thing. We're not allowed to check that kind of thing. Jojo Lion says, hey, just finished your first term of computer science. Wanted to thank you. You went through 1511 when watching my lectures instead of the new ones. Oh, thank you, Jojo. Thank you. Also, sorry, Sasha. The current lecturer is a friend of mine. She's really, really good. Funnily enough, I taught her when we were both undergrads. And I know she's doing a really good job with it. I know that she's like, the students like what she's doing and stuff. So I'm sure that was good as well. So you got the good structure of how the course is going and the assignments from her, and then you got to see my lectures as well, which is fun. I'm happy that I kind of left them up there so that people can check it out if they want. And the course still, because it's only like a year since I last took it, I think it hasn't shifted enough yet for it to be completely out of sync. Nicole says your symptoms seemed like a bad cold, but almost feeling 100%. That's nice. That's good. I think you got it easy. Yeah. Feel lucky though, because some of your friends said they had COVID real bad. Felt like they were hit by a bus. Yeah, I feel like that's the case. I think it's still it's still not. It's not something we can trivialize. COVID, like it's not like getting the flu. You get a really really bad flu, and people are like, yeah, you'll be fine. But COVID's like you get really really bad COVID, and you're like, ooh, that could be hospital. So we're still not at a point where we can treat it like something that is a regular part of life that we can simply kind of take for granted. But hopefully it mutates into something milder at some point. Like other disease viruses, have a history of mutating into something more benign, because it's better for their survival if they're not suppressed, like they don't suppress us as much. But we have to wait. Mutation's not a not an intentional change. It just kind of is random. We have to hope for the best. Okay, we've done like the 45 minutes of Mark talking shit, which is the standard format of this stream. Chicken apparently made a return in the 1511 exam as emotional support. I'm glad that that's still there. There's photos of Chicken there. Oh, Hamish, you had the last Mark 1511 and 3421. So you were 1511 and 3421 in 2021, was it? Wait, did you do graphics in first year? How'd you pull that off? Or you have some kind of like non-standard path through your degree that managed to get you there? That'd be pretty cool if you did that. Anyway, let me flick over to this one. Yeah. Just need to readjust where my camera is aiming. Nicole said, your friend's boyfriend is a CSE tutor, and your friend was so shook that 1, undergrads could be tutors, and 2, it was possible for people to get HDs somewhat regularly in courses. Oh, you got a waiver from me? I love that, but I don't even remember the admin. As I was saying before, I got swamped by lots and lots of admin, and I think it would have been just like you were like, "Hey, can I do this?" And I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, you can do that." I hope it wasn't too hard. I think it was because you were doing the PreReq at the same time, and I knew that the PreReq was only an artificial boundary. Like we weren't genuinely going to use anything that was from the other course. It was just like the vague idea of object-oriented programming and a certain level of advancement through CSE that was necessary. I think that's all it was. Anyway, let us go on to a little bit of fun that we're going to have. I don't know how long this is going to take, so I don't know if we're going to finish this during stream. But this is part of my May the 4th be with you celebration. It is a Lego Death Star trench run. So it's got a little X-Wing in there, 2 little TIE fighters and Darth Vader's TIE Advanced there, and just like bits and gribblies and stuff from inside the trench on the Death Star. And I saw this at, I think it was Hobbyco. I really should be sponsored by them by now, because I mentioned them in so many of my streams. But like, yeah, this looks like a super cool Lego kit. And we're going to start building this now. We can keep talking about random stuff while we're doing this. But I'm going to get this open and start looking at it. So Hamish, the PreReq I'm doing next term. Oh, you're doing the PreReq next term. Oh, you've done some other OOP stuff, right? Yes, Alex, this looks very, very cool. Yeah, so I saw this the other day and I was like, I really want that. I was looking at it going, I really want that kit. And it was funny because when I first saw it, I put it back on the shelf and I was like, I can't necessarily do this. And then it was like, oh, I'm doing a stream on May the 4th. I should do something Star Wars. And it was like, buy the kit. Buy the kit. And it was like, fine. Fine, Mark that doesn't care about fiscal responsibility. I'll buy the kit. And it'll be a cool stream. So that's how I got here with this. So let's get this open. See how we're going? Yeah, Mitchell? Yeah, this is going to be cool. So, Bag number 2. I don't know, Nicole, whether Hobbyco has a membership thing. I think that like Hobbyco totally could. The bags number 2 and 4. I'm going to assume because a lot of these kits are. Oh my god, they've got the separator tool. I didn't know that they would just like give that out with kits. Okay, bag number 1, which means there has to be a bag number 3. There's a bag number 3. Got some instructions. I'll put them to the side at the moment. There's bag number 5. And a bag number 6. Wow, this really doesn't look like I'm gonna get through this in this stream. However, I could just stream until like 1 a.m. and just keep building this thing till it's finished. But I'm not sure. Wait, the tools are in every kit now. I have been for a couple of years. Okay, so it's been a while. It's actually been ages since I last built a Lego kit because I crossed over into the miniatures world, and so everything that all of this kind of like little hobby building that I've been doing has been like shaping plastic and MDF and painting, plastic and metal miniatures. So we got some boards here as well. Okay, so where are we going to start? With the instructions. Death Star trench run. Lock your S-foils in attack position. Let's do some reading. Anyone ever gone to Daniel Mansfield's stream? Is he still streaming on Twitch? I've stopped actually looking at my Twitch notifications to see if friends are streaming or not, because I just kind of haven't been watching Twitch regularly. But he has to actually used to read out bits of books and stuff like that. This is the first time I could do this because it's only like one paragraph. The Death Star is seconds from blasting Yavin 4 and the Rebel base out of existence. Only Luke Skywalker can launch the perfect attack to save the galaxy. With Darth Vader dead on his tail, Luke, urged by the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, switches off his targeting computer. The Force is strong with this one, Darth Vader. Yes, and the rest of it is not story. It's just describing what it is. So, this is the scene from the movie. Assume everybody rewatched the movies today. You don't have to do that. I didn't do that. It was so funny because I was playing something completely different. I was playing Guardians of the Galaxy today. So it's like, not Star Wars at all. Yeah, Alex. The Force is strong, computers are weak. It's actually foreshadowing the way that we would use computers nowadays, where it's just like, you can do things better than the computer. Nicole's saying, if you had loads of disposable income, you'd buy all the adult Lego sets, like the Titanic, Colosseum, and all the Star Wars ones, etc. Yeah, I was hanging out with a friend last night who owns the Titanic Lego kit, but has yet to find enough space to build it. I have the same thing. I have a giant collector's edition X-Wing from Star Wars, and I've never built it because it's huge. Like, apparently it's 50 centimeters long. I love how I'm just doing this in my hands. It doesn't make any difference, but yeah, it's like that long, and the same width. So it's just like, if I build that, where am I going to put it? And as it is, the Lego kits that I've got lying around are all just picking up dust. Like, they're so dusty. Strangely enough, having a cute little cat like that just generates a whole bunch of extra dust in a house. So yeah. But Lego's a lot of fun, and every now and then I think about, like custom building and stuff. Like, there's Olivia saying Mark on Lego Masters next. That'd be pretty. Hey, did you hear, like, speaking of me being on TV, did I tell you about how Beauty and the Geek tried to recruit me multiple times? It was so funny. They were like, do you want to be on this show? You got to be like single and between 20 and 35 or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm neither of those, right? Like, I am not, like, I've been married for years and I'm too old for your people and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, this is a very silly idea. But I did pitch back to them, but I never heard back, which is fine. But I said, you don't need me to be on your show as a contestant. I'm the king of the nerds. I'm not just one of the nerds. Like, I'm a level above your standard nerd you're going to have on this show. You should have me judging them. And I was like, yeah, I wanna, I'm gonna be on the show as the person that teaches the people how to do something nerdy and then eliminates some of them for not being good enough at it. Like, I could totally do that. Imagine that. I'd just be like, all right, let's do this. All the beauties have to learn how to program computers being taught by me. And it's like as if I don't have the credentials for that, right? And then I'd just be like, yeah, some of you just didn't pick it up, so you're cold. You're out. Good luck to you. Go back to whatever you're doing that wasn't computing. That's obviously very boring. Right? Yeah, but that never happened. I wonder if they could smell the the intellectual arrogance just seeping off me. And they were like, "No, we can't let this go anywhere near the show. It's gonna ruin everything." So it was like, yeah. So that just kind of like fizzled. But it was also quite funny because like I'd previously they messaged me and just going, "Do you want to be on this show?" And I think it was they messaged me via my Instagram. My Instagram's my miniature painting Instagram. So they're like obviously looking for someone who like because they knew because I got a lot of followers on Instagram. They thought, oh yeah, this would be cool. We would get some more people to watch the show. And this person's obviously like a full on Warhammer nerd. And and I said no because like I don't fit the criteria at all. And then like a month later, they pinged me again. I was like, yeah, I told you no, right? So yeah. Oh, Nicole said there were 2 UNSW students, law students on Lego Masters. That's pretty cool. I have to watch it actually because a friend of mine's been watching it. And he's just like, "Hey, it's really good. You got to watch it." And I was like, "Okay, sooner or later, I will," but I haven't yet. Okay. Back to the Lego. Now that I have proclaimed myself king of all the nerds and have at least one person hailing me as king of the nerds, so that's confirmed now. Confirmed, 100%, indisputable king of the nerds. Okay, so it looks like they're in order. Number 1 builds that, number 2 builds that, number 3 builds that. So this is good. Like a lot of Lego kits are like that nowadays. Which means what I can do is I can take all of the bags that aren't number 1 and put them on my other desk over there. Hope I don't need to use my mouse. My mouse and keyboard are now just under piles of Lego. Okay. Here are the instructions. And 4 builds more stuff. 5 builds very, very complicated stuff. And 6 adds the ships to it. So, they say, get the boards. Got these 3 boards. And number 1. And they say, tip out all the parts of number 1. I'm probably not going to be, like, violently tipping them out or anything. But most of the bits there. And let's get started. You know what I need? I mean, I don't have enough cameras for this, but if I had another camera pointing the instructions while I'm working on things that you could see what I was doing. But I think that's not super necessary. Okay, instructions are get some pieces, stick them together. I think we're just turning this thing into one large board out of the 3 boards that we have. So we're taking one of these big long ones, attaching this. How are we looking? I'm just wondering if I need more light here. I can turn on my... I don't know if that's better or worse. Like, it looks like the low light compensation in the phone's camera is just totally dealing with this, and I don't actually need my task lamp on or anything. Like you saw, like, right, okay, like let me turn it on, and it just sort of compensates back to. I don't know. It actually looks a little bit better. It's a little bit better. So it's not having to. You can see the reflection of the light there. It's not having to kind of boost the signal the way that it was otherwise. All right. Got this piece, and this piece, and that's probably going to be the floor of the diorama. So that's as big as it's going to be. Like so. And then we're going to flip this thing over and build a frame onto it with the black pieces. See you later, Mike. Light on. Right, yeah. So the shutter speed is better with the light on because it's not having to like expose for ages to get the color. All right, see you, Mike. Okay, so flip this thing over and put a bunch of these pieces on to frame it. I hope that this is the right size. Yes, it is. And we have the shorter two to go inside. Wait, they're not shorter. They look like the same. No, that's all right. Instructions say that's good. The shorter ones are the ones coming across the bottom corners here. On there. Oh, we have our first cat hair. I'm going to assume that there will be cat hair trapped in this model, but I'm also going to be okay with that because that's how we roll with chicken in the house. Okay, so flipping it back over again, and now we're building up the walls. I'm not sure exactly which parts. Cause where's that gap at the front? I don't know what this piece is and how it fits there, but we shall see. Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that's okay. Let's grab these two pieces. Some smaller ones will be in this bag, I assume. I should just tip this bag out. Oh, right. Okay, so it was these bits. Not familiar with this shape, but they're going to attach to the bottom of the grey bit in this gap that I've got here. So 5 of those. 5 of those there. And 1 of these. Okay, so the long ones are going on the back corner. 2 single studs are there, and the 4 goes in the middle, leaving these 2 gaps later for other stuff. And then the front bit is just these 5 sticking underneath to give us some nubs sticking out this direction. Is that what they're called? Nubs? This is just new things that are bad at stuff. Nubs. Dongju's heading off. Gonna go study. Good luck. Good luck with tomorrow. I'll ask Kevin not to hurt you too much. It's not gonna help. Studs. Studs a better word. Yeah, well, I guess we prefer studs to nubs, don't we? Like, what is it? Chads and... what's the other one? What's the opposite of a chad? It's like a stud is a chad, and a nub is a noob. But anyway. Just making up words. Okay, so we've got more things around the outside edges. So we've got all of these. There's a gap there of 2 on each of those where these pieces go. More of them. These. Let's go there, and then the normal 2-stud ones go there. Studs will make frequent appearances in LEGO Star Wars. The in-game currency is studs instead of coins, right? Yeah. I think that'll be fun to play because it's so just kind of like it's a chill game. It's not like a hard game, and it's not like a. I guess it's a grindy game, but yeah, it's not a game where you feel like you have a lot of pressure when you're playing it, I think. Okay, and then these silver things are going on each of those. I wonder how long it takes to build a Lego kit. We're about to find out how fast I can build this kit and whether I can finish it while we're still at a reasonable time for the stream. Although, as I have learnt in conversation with people about last night, I was like, I set up the stream and did my amazing Microsoft paint job on Warc and Marc, as is my butchering of the Star Wars logo. That me posting that I was going to stream at 12:30 a.m. was perfectly reasonable, and I could have tagged everyone on Discord at that time. Okay, so we're up to here, and then this one. It's just going to be lots of these flat ones, by the looks of it. There's a couple of these. Not sure exactly what they are, but we will find out later what they get used for. So I think this is all just the getting ourselves nice and presentable here by covering up all of the studs around the edges of the diorama. Gives it that professional look. Lego is actually like super chill and kind of meditative as well, I feel, because you don't have to make any decisions. You just follow the instructions and you build the thing, and then it looks cool at the end. I guess that's why Lego Masters is so interesting to people, because if you don't have a set of instructions to follow, then you're actually doing all the planning yourself, which is super interesting. Okay, and then we're putting the Star Wars logo and this one with the Force is strong with this one printed on it on the front. These used to be stickers, but I see that having it as printed on is kind of nice, because the stickers, always over time would eventually peel and things like that. So it's nice to have this just as paint in a sense. So there's the base of the diorama, all done. That's bag number one. Bag number one was pretty simple, so that's cool. And now bag number two. Go put over here. Here's bag number two. Lots of grey bits, so I assume this is going to be the base of the diorama. Maybe some of the mechanics that are going to go into it. Mitchell's saying you were so bad at putting those stickers on. Yeah. Even when I was good at putting those stickers on, even when they went on fine, I found that if you have stuff on display, depending on if it ever got any sunlight on it, but like putting stuff on display that gets sunlight is always like a risky thing, because like it can discolor parts of the plastic with UV light, stuff like that. But yeah, I would find I had stickers that were peeling, stuff like that. Nicole, I wonder if people have building flat packs as a hobby. I reckon they totally do. Or even if it's not a hobby, they're on like Airtasker and they're making money out of it. It's like, you buy IKEA, I build it for you. And it's like, that's actually like, that's not a bad, not a bad service. I think some people would be like totally okay with making use of that. All right. Uh-oh. I just tipped out all the stuff here, and then after I moved the bag off the table, I felt something hit my leg on the way down. So just give me a second. I've got to find the piece that rolled away. That was easy, actually. This tiny little grey piece. Okay. Oh, it's not even on camera. I thought I'd just put it on the pile there, but you didn't get to see it. But that's okay. All right. And Mitchell saying, yeah, the stickers would fade as well. Yeah. Um, Nicole, I think it would be so funny to see if there's like a YouTube or Twitch channel somewhere of just someone building flat packs on Twitch. Like, it would totally be a thing. And I think it would be quite interesting. Okay, so now we're building up around this grey area over here. So we have these joint bits. One of them goes there. It's a little asymmetrical here as well. It's not all the same. Two of these. So this is what we're looking like. It looks like we're going to stick those Lego poles, geared pole kind of things through there, and that one's a joint piece for something to flip that way, I assume. Where are the other bits? Got one, two of these pieces. They are going on here. And, oh, nope, that's the wrong place for that one. Show you the instructions. Oh, I can't really show you the instructions and the kit at the same time, so I'll just show you the kit. So it's slightly asymmetric what I'm building. It's there, and these two corner pieces here. That looks like everything I need there. Now we're building up this left side here. One piece here. There. Square piece there. This really odd asymmetric piece here. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. There's a different angle of that. Just periodically pull the cat hair off each of these pieces before they go on. I love it. They've just come fresh out of a bag of Lego and they're already like the second I pick them up, they've got cat hair on them. It's like I remember seeing someone like it was a webcomic or something, like people who have cats, and it's just like there's a picture of like the couch and there's just little prickly bits of hair all over it, and there's a picture of just like their clothes, little bits of hair over it, and then they have the picture of their dinner with all this food, and they're just covered in cat hair. It's like it's so the truth. That's how those with cats live. There's a single stud square piece somewhere here. I would have assumed it was in this batch. Oh, wait. I'd gone to the next page by accident. Let's go back to the previous page. Finish that first. I think that's everything. Yep. And now we go on to putting stuff on top of it. So we got a round bit. Single square stud here. Just try to get it perfectly aligned. It's better. Yeah. One of these sloping ones. It's funny how you get like mixed in between really, really basic pieces that you know really well. And pieces like this weird asymmetric one where it's like, oh, that's very interesting. It's not what I was expecting. Got a couple more here of the parts that you can stick the pole through. Some on this one as well. Olivia's saying, if you're not constantly inhaling cat fur, are you even a cat owner? Yeah. And then sometimes when you're inhaling it on purpose because you're huffing your cat because it's so cute. Okay. I think that's everything for that part. Ooh, interesting colored bits. I feel like when they do bright colored bits like this, they're always for some kind of mechanism or something, and they're just like, okay, these are the important bits that need to be here for a specific purpose. So get these pieces in here and we'll cover them up later. But it's important that, like, it's more important that these are in here than any other pieces. Okay, we've got these angled parts. Alright, so we're just building up this angled surface around here. Then we have, next bit is to build this little area here. Goes in the corner. One of these. Then a big flat section. Next to that is going to be a series of grills going along there. Right. Then bits and pieces of just sort of, it's really interesting. It's all like what you'd call gribblies. Like when they were making the actual Death Star trench, it was just like pieces of model kits that they'd pulled apart to make the miniatures that they were going to go onto the set. And I like how they're kind of leaning in on that kind of lack of uniformity in this diorama already. It's like, what is this? You know, this is going to be the background, right? Mana was asking, what kit is this? I will show you the picture again. It is the Death Star trench run, because it's May the 4th, right? So I'm going to do Star Wars things. And it's a mini diorama of Luke's trench run at the end of the first. I guess I can call it the first Star Wars film, because it was like the first Star Wars film, even though it's episode 4 of the ongoing massive saga that is Star Wars. And so it's got the 3 TIE fighters, like Darth Vader's advanced TIE fighter and the 2 normal ones, chasing Luke in his X-Wing down the trench. And a whole bunch of really, really cool detail about the trench there, which we've just started putting together. And Tark's saying, your mum has a blanket she puts on the chair for the cat to sit on. Yeah, and then that blanket is just like covered in hair, right? Like I've got a few things around the house that are just like, these are chickens, and if you want to touch it as a human, you just have to accept that you're going to get covered in cat hair if you do that. Okay, next page here, we are building up a little bit more in this area here. Those, I got a big one of these. Another big one of those next to it. Yep. Smaller, flatter one there. And an angled one. Very interesting. This piece. It always is funny, I think, when you play with Lego and then you find pieces you've never seen before. I think that happens more and more where, like, they're doing some interesting kind of custom pieces just to make more interesting look. Either that, or I don't have that much experience with Lego. It's been ages since I've built a big kit, so this isn't even that big a kit, I think. Did I do all of that? 3 of them, 2 of them. Oh no, there's some other bits happening. These. that bit now looking like that. And now this next bit where we're building up some stuff over here by the looks of it. Okay, we've got a single knob here. I'm still calling them knobs. And a single, what looks like a stud cover there. And these two just kind of little lump rounded bits. Yeah. Just twist them a little to get them aligned. I get this thing where if it's a single stud thing, I want to be really careful about actually getting it to line up, even though you probably wouldn't notice. All right, now we're building a part there. It looks like a droid, but I assume it's like some kind of turret thing. Well, it's not even a turret. It's actually going to go side on in here somewhere. So let's build these pieces. I actually can show you the instructions here because I'm building a small piece. So got one of these and this block. These rectangular cover bits. So we've got that. 18 here. It's this round bit. And what looks like this partially conical section. This and one of these little handles coming out the back. Oh, there was so much cat hair on that one. I wonder if that was the piece that I'd picked up from the floor. Just want to rotate it a little so that it's aligned. Yep, there we go. No one's ever going to notice that I lined that up nicely. Actually, I think the ultimate in OCD would be to take this completely round piece and still align it, because on the inside it actually has like, it's actually not completely symmetrical circle. So if you were going to get to that level and line those up perfectly, I think that you're the ultimate in hyper specific Lego creation. All right, so that piece goes in there like that, and we cap the end with one of these. So that's that. And that attaches on here. Let me just make sure I'm doing that the right direction. Like that. Yep. And we have a blank face, which is like kind of disturbing, because it's not actually a face, but it is the same shape as the Lego minifigures' heads. And like so. So that is this piece here, and it's going to get attached there, which is just... Actually, looking at this here, looks like I've done this incorrectly. This one's going next to the hinge by the looks of it. Right. Oh, and that piece there looks like it's attached, even though it's not. It's just kind of propped up against it, so it looks like it's a conduit that goes into the other part. Cool. Alright, we've got another small piece here, which is then going to attach kind of to the front of that. So let's build that up first. Yep. Not the part I'm looking for. Look at this. Spherical Lego piece. This part here. Oh, it's hard to describe them, actually. All right, built that tiny section there, and that is going to go on here. And again, I think it's that thing where it's just pretending that it attaches. Like there's actually an air gap between those. Oh, wait. Oh, no, there is. Yep. That goes on there. But that's not the only thing that I've just been asked to build here. What's that? Oh no, it's a scratch. I thought it was cat hair. And it looked like, from where it was going to be permanently embedded. There's a 3 long flat one. So a few little extra bits there. Next bit is a little formation that's going to go there. So the bottom corner starts here. We build that square formation. And we're going to put a circular black piece in the middle. Well, not black, dark grey. One of the funny things about building Lego Star Wars kits, I think, is just like, yeah, get used to lots of different shades of grey, but like that's it. They're going to be really grey for a lot of it. I reckon that's just like down to like Star Wars needing to do a lot of miniatures on a budget. It was like, oh, we just can't do that many colors. Okay, here we've got this piece. See, the funny thing is with the strange pieces, this is super old. Like, I had this piece in kits that I was building in the early 1980s. So some of these pieces are really old, and some of them aren't. Some of them are quite new. So it's like, it's really interesting how it all kind of melds together. Right. There's that contraption there. And that is going here. The edge of that square. There. And then the next bit, we're going to build another gribbly. Start off with, actually, show you the instructions while I'm doing it. Start off with this bit. Put 2 single stud square pieces on the sides of it. Flat single stud pieces on the other sides. And each of those gets a little angled piece on it. Do people stream building Lego? I assume that they do, right? I assume that there's like a whole community of people doing this, and I'm just like, just doing it as a one-off. And there's a exhaust porty thingy going on top. Like so. And that's going to go in the middle of that circular bit. I assume it doesn't particularly matter which way I line this up. Yeah, it's now for aesthetic purposes. Olivia's like, yeah, totally, yeah. Saw someone stream a Lego Super Mario NES. Oh, we were talking about that on Discord, weren't we? Because I looked at that and went, oh, I want that. Maybe I will, at some point, I will get that kit as well and build it. I assume that one's much bigger than this, so it would take more than one night to build. This I am 100% planning on finishing this tonight if I can. Although we're only on bag 2, and I haven't even been an hour yet, and we're on bag 2. So I think out of the 6 bags, and the later ones are actually smaller, we might get there. Okay, now we're building up this area here. Bit in between. Two more of these. I actually feel like it gets quicker the later you get into the bag, because there's like I don't have to search through as much stuff. And then a little bit of details going on top of those pieces that I just put there. No, I want it to be perfect. The single stud ones, I'm trying to line them up exactly. And this one, just I keep bumping it a little bit too far in either direction. Alright, good enough, good enough. Saw Lando Norris build a Lego Formula One car, which is pretty cool. I don't know Lando Norris, are they a famous streamer? Mitchell's like, I love the random pink and orange bricks amongst all the grey. Yeah. I always find it's interesting when they do those, because they're like, you definitely won't see these at the end, but for some reason we're doing these particular colors, and I think it's like they're going to be important, where if you've accidentally put something out of place, if you did these like rotated or something like that by accident, then everything kind of breaks later. So this is like a big kind of like warning to do it right. I don't think it's cost cutting, because there's heaps of other things that are going to be covered up that are the grey in a sense, but I think it's like, because there's a piece under here that's just grey and you're never going to see it, but I think this is like you get this wrong, and 2 hours later the rod's not going to slide in there properly, and you can have ruined the whole kit. So I think these are like warning pieces to get things really correct. I'm just guessing that. It reminds me of how we do things in graphics. Like, or teach people a lot of the time to make the base color of their objects like bright green. Um, or if it's like not a green, if it's a green scene, like bright pink or bright purple or something like that. So that if anywhere there's been a mistake in coloring things correctly, or something hasn't been colored or textured properly, you really know about it. So you definitely know there's a mistake, and you go, we can go back and fix that. Otherwise, you don't realize there's a mistake, and then it just keeps going until, like, you release your thing, and then someone streams it, and you become a meme for having messed up something later. So I think it's that. It seems like it. Oh, Lando Norris is a Formula One driver, but does some Twitch gaming streams when not driving. And that's really cool for a Formula One driver to then build a Lego Formula One car. I think that's a really cool kind of like saying hi to your profession from outside. It's going down here. I think it'd be kind of funny being the designer for this. And it's like, oh yeah, this is just gonna be random stuff, but like really specifically random stuff, so it still like it's looks like someone could have built it. Well, I mean, technically, I'm building it now. that's everything for that section there that I just built. Now onto this bit. Putting these two together. This tube one goes on here. Oh, okay. On to bag 3. I do have some little bits and pieces of bag 2 left. I don't know if they're still going to be used, or they might be the way that Lego does a lot of the time with the very small pieces. They go, here are some spares in case you stuff up, or you launch one across the room and can't find it, like I nearly did before, where I just dropped it underneath me. But they may also get mixed in with bag 3. So we'll see how we go, but we're definitely up to bag 3 now. Because it looks like... Actually, I don't know. I don't know if any of those pieces are part of bag 3. But bag 3 has lots of little bits. So I think this is bag 3 is going to be detailing on the floor of the diorama there. I'm shaking the bag this time so that I don't like tip something out on the floor instead of here. Okay, these little bags, I will open them as well. I do enjoy the fact that I have a hobby desk. It was actually years ago where this desk here, where I have all my paints and everything, used to be my main computer desk. So I have my monitor here and my mouse and keyboard and stuff. But it's really funny that my mouse and keyboard and everything got moved over to the side on what isn't even a proper desk. It's just like a side bit of desk. So that's where I like play my games and stuff. And my hobby stuff with all my paints and stuff got given the main area of my big desk. I don't know if I sent you a photo of my hobby desk before, but I'll send one to Discord later because I have to like step back and take a photo. And this camera that's showing you this stuff is my phone at the moment, so I can't take any photos right now. Okay, so we're building this section of something. Not sure exactly what it is. Kind of looks like guns. I wonder if this is going to be like the guns on the turret or something. Ah, lightsaber handles. These are the things they use for lightsabers, but obviously, this being Lego, you can use them for all kinds of things. I think this is the right end cap that I'm looking for. I don't know if all of these end caps are hollow or they've got a flat stud on them. I can't tell from the picture which one they're supposed to be, but I think they're all hollow, so I can use these. They're going on the ends here. Mitchell loves making stuff out of the spares at the end. Yeah, that's cool. I have a lot of just random spare bits from other kits lying around. I've put them all together somewhere. I think they're in an old box of one of the old boxes of one of the old kits that I built ages ago. All right, that is going there, which I think is here. Yes. Just a small piece here. going there. It's funny seeing bits that I built before that are now completely being covered up by things. Okay, now we're building another random mechanism of some kind. I don't think this is the right piece, because that's got it on a 90-degree angle, but it looks like the one I need has it on opposite sides. Found one, but I don't know if that's the right color. Round. See if there is one in the light grey, which according to the instructions, yeah, there we go. Light grey seems to match that. Put these in. Oop, just pulled the stud out of the bottom. So, and kind of telescoping piece. Or like looking like it's a telescoping piece, but it isn't. And another lightsaber handle. Alright, so we've got that. Figure out where that goes. In here. I love how there's a whole lot of like just implied connections here, where this piece goes up to these, but you can see the air gap in between them. But from a distance, it's implied that that's like one pipe that goes in somewhere. Oh wait, there was another piece I missed. There's a cap on that. Sometimes you've got to remember to go through here and make sure I haven't left something out. But they're pretty good with the instructions though, like where you don't build one of these pieces and add other pieces here in the same step in the instructions. Okay, so see what I'm working on. This one of these at the bottom. A couple of these grill pieces. It's going to go on here. Pair of those stepped angled bits. Ah! You can see my head getting in the way as I'm trying to peer at the pieces here and get the right pieces. Actually, not sure where they are. Looking for that particular shape. Like, it has to be here, but oh, there it is. There's two of them. Where are they going? There. Which is there. Building another section. These. It's like, oh, more is attached to underneath there. Top of it. That looks right for that. It goes on in the corner there. See ourselves slowly filling out this, and I'll show you in 3D. Seeing all these cool bits and pieces that are going to make up the kind of background believability of the diorama. Side angled thing. Yep. Looks like some kind of antenna piece. Oh no, it's not. It's another pipe lying along the ground. Every time I think one of these pieces is going to oh wait, I missed something. That piece. I missed that entirely. Oh, because they did. Okay, so where is that? So I've got this piece, and I think that round piece goes there, then the lightsaber piece goes into the top of that. And then when I put this in here, yeah, it'll line up with the edge of the diorama as theirs does. Okay. Now this piece. These round sections, yeah. Bunch of circular bits on it. And those spiky pieces. Do you like my names for everything? Because I don't know any of the official names for the Lego pieces, so I'm just randomly describing them. This, I think. I'm going to flip that over and put one of these. I'm going to call them frying pan handles. I should come up with more and more weird and elaborate names for these things instead of whatever name they're supposed to have. Alright, put that on there. Get this random piece. It's going here. As we can see there. It's so funny, like, just building up just literally gribblies at the moment, just completely random little pieces of pseudo-mechanical sci-fi architecture. Yet another one here. No wonder this piece, this bag had so many tiny pieces. It was entirely set dressing. But that, and we attach another lightsaber handle. They had fun with these lightsaber handles. There's so many of them. Piece for one of these. There. Looks like I'm doing it twice. I don't know if they're exactly the same. They do look. Oh, wait, they're not exactly the same. The lightsaber handles are in reverse directions. Functionally, they're going to end up pretty much the same, but, you know, just tiny, tiny details of difference between them. So we got these two pieces. So this is the first one, and this is the second. Not that it'll matter, you know, trying to be too specific about it. They're going to go on here. Right, now we've got a steering wheel, a cylinder, big cylinder. It's going to take this piece first. Is that the way up it goes? Yeah. So that rod goes inside there, and the steering wheel actually goes on it upside down, which is interesting. I guess it's not supposed to look like a steering wheel. That's going to go in this section. Right. More gribblies. This. Yep. Yeah. That. I don't know if I push that too far in. Let's pull that back out. See where it goes. So it's going on this bottom corner of that cylinder I just made. Alright, so I can see that definitely doesn't connect, so I might just extend it back out, because that was just kind of pushed on it. Alright, and then 2 of those. So I've got this, and then the handle, and the single stud. And so they're all attaching to this cylinder. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to figure out what depth that stud should be, and then put it in place. Yeah, that's good enough. Push it in if it needs to. Ryan, this is your free therapy. It is kind of like I find that when I'm building, it's meditative in a sense, you know. It's you just follow some simple instructions, and you don't have to use that much of your brain, but you do have to use some of your brain, and so it's enough to keep your head moving without giving you space to think about things. So you can't really think about your life or your your problems and things like that. You just focus on the kit, but it also doesn't tax your brain too much, which is kind of what I think a lot of meditative hobbies are really good for, like that kind of thing. Okay. Now that I've brought you all back to earth by talking about life, let's go back to the kit. So I got one of these. Oh, on the top of the hinge. I knew that was coming sooner or later. The top of the hinge had to appear, otherwise that would be... Oh, no, it's not. I was going to say, otherwise that bit would be empty, but it's not actually there. It's down here. So this bit goes here. This hingy bit goes there. And that might not even have anything attached to it, because it looks like it's just like a pipe connected. Alright. Building more partial pieces. So I'll do this one first. Got these. Get that together, and we have a single square stud. I think I just took the one from bag 2, not bag 3. It's all gonna be... It's all out of whack now. I took a piece from bag 2 and I mixed it in with bag 3's instructions. The missing pieces are gonna be completely random now. We no longer have any control over the situation. Alright, this goes here. And this other piece, 2 dark grey squares with the most generic Lego block, the 4-stud cube. It's not really a cube. 4-stud square block. I think this is actually, I think maybe the 6-stud square block is the poster child of Lego blocks. But I feel like this one is one of the most basic components. And that goes in this corner. Alright, building another rather complicated gribbly. One of the most quintessential Lego pieces. Yeah, sorry, it's not 6, is it? It's the 8. The 4x2 is the 4x2 3-level high is the one on the logo, right? Oh no, it's not the logo anymore. Didn't it used to be that the red brick which is the would fit here, the 4x2, right? That's, yeah, as Hamish is saying, that is the quintessential. We'll see if any of them turn up in this kit. I think unlikely. This kit appears to be a scaled down. Like, this isn't at minifigure scale. It would have to be much bigger for that. So I think this is we're probably not going to see one of those blocks. Oh, Mitchell says they rebranded, so they're not necessarily going to have that specific block on the logo anymore. Where's that piece? Here it is. It goes on top. Actually, let me move this up a little so you can see. Wait, there we go. You see the bit I'm working on now. I have just covered up all the blocks over here, so I may have trouble finding them, but should be okay. Oh wait, we had another one of those hinge rod pieces. There. Yeah, so we're there. We add another one on top of that with a spacer. Alright, there we go. And yet again, another one. The same. Oh, I get what this is. It's a radiator. It's like, these aren't hinges. They're just generic rods. Alright, so that's that. 3? Oh no, that's 4. So that's the fourth one there, and then we have that backwards hinge piece going on the top. Yes. This bit here has us attaching a couple more of the lightsaber pieces, which they are really enjoying using here, onto that. Trying to hold too many pieces at once here. Nicole, when will you make your next TikTok? I kind of have fallen off the TikTok platform. I think it would be quite funny if I just hopped on and just did one TikTok and see what happens. Like, I don't think that many people are following me on TikTok anymore, right? I was going to a lot of trouble there because I was like talking and I was saying, okay, this is what I want to say and stuff like that. And then I was going through and typing out a specific, the captions for it so that they were accurate rather than auto-generated and things. And so every TikTok I made was taking me like 45 minutes to post. And I was like, you know. So I got tired of it. All right, that piece goes there. So I mean, like, maybe I should put less effort into them so that I can just do stuff rather than getting too caught up in having every TikTok be like a really, really perfect thing. Okay, one of these. So you can see it. Bit of glare on the reflection. A bunch of the side nub pieces. I'm just renaming everything the way I want to I want to call it. So these. There we go. And then down here, we've got little boards on the side of them. And those angled grills. Right. Here we are. There's that piece. We're not done yet. I'm gonna add some more pieces to this. 3 of these covers. It's so funny having these pieces that are just like, yeah, we're just gonna cover up all the studs. That's what this is for. Here. These facing each other. Nicely. Piece in front of them. What is that piece? It's one of these. Okay. That's that. And a bit more. That's tailing off the back of it. One is adding this and a panhandle, now that I have a name for it, on the top there. That's that. And it's going on next to the radiator there. Oh, we're building another piece like that, but with extra stuff on it. So capping one of these and taking this long pipe, attaching that. Let me make sure you can see the instructions, what I'm doing. One of these. Yep. All right, it's gonna start looking a lot like that other one, I think. So are we getting too much? I was like, can I move this so that it's not reflecting back at the camera, but the light is attached to the camera? If I move one, I move the other. I guess I could angle the instructions a bit. Oh, there you go. I've just got to move this up here, angle the instructions. There you go. Now we're not getting glare off the instructions. You can see them more easily now. Okay, there's that bit. And the only downside is I just put the kit on top of all the pieces that I'll be looking at. Alright, back with the glare again for a bit. I have this funny kind of thing where sometimes I'm looking at what the camera feed is showing, which is up there for me. And sometimes I'm actually looking at what I'm working on. So it's quite funny if I look at the camera feed and I try to move my fingers and my hand-eye coordination goes weird because there's a slight delay. Or those caps. But on this side, there's a gap between them. Where one of these goes. Mm-hmm. Oh, more stuff. Which angle is that on? It's facing kind of upwards. And two of these very interesting little pieces that I've definitely never seen before. It's not one of those, but it's attached to this piece. It's funny because it has this little hook bit on the side that attaches, but it's only on one side. Wait, there. Versus there. I love how random it is. It's like, what is this? You know, doesn't matter what it is. It is a piece of sci-fi technological looking MacGuffin. It's nothing specific at all, and it's just attaching to our little diorama here. I like this bit that the diorama is now spilling out over the sides of the border, so it's like it actually is starting to look like an artistic diorama. Okay. There's another piece similar to that now going on, which I think is going to be the last piece of this bag by the looks of it. Let me give you the instructions so you can see what I'm building as I'm building it. You know, it's kind of funny because I think, what is it? It's been the last month or so of my streams have just turned into like hands-on crafting streams. Hey Talk, how's it going? Um, and I'm actually quite enjoying it because I feel like this is like some of the stuff that I really love doing when I'm not doing anything technical. Like even playing games is like pseudo technical, right? Because you're on your computer and it's all a virtual environment. But getting a little bit hands-on and building stuff is like a whole lot of fun. Building stuff, painting stuff, crafting stuff, like it's always a lot of fun. YouTube put you an hour back and you only just noticed. It's like, wow, he's really not making any progress. Mark, you're really bad at this Lego thing. Okay. That's that piece there, which is now going into the diorama here, which I think connects it to that kind of pipe sticking out of the other one. I'm going to rotate that a little, just so it's not asymmetric. Details I will never see again, nor will I remember. But while I'm building it, I'm just like, nah, this stuff's gonna be it's gonna be perfect. Okay, so that's that, and that is the end of bag 3. Let's look at the work that we have done. So that's kind of cool. Look at that building up, that mechanical structure of the surface of the Death Star. I'm enjoying this. This is cool. And our collection of extra little pieces is now growing. So that's the collection of spares. I'm going to put them over to the side here. Yeah, looking cool. All right, bag number 4. Bag number 4 has a lot of large pieces in it. I'm sensing backdrop here. I don't know whether. Oh yeah, because the front has the plaque on it. So the backdrop has some vertical sections. So that's what I'm sensing is going to happen here. That we will build a backdrop and then stick it on somehow. Actually, is that? Yeah. I remember when I first started out tonight being able to see more of this. I think I just moved my light down a little bit. I don't really need the light that close. This is not intricate, detailed painting work like I would normally be doing when I'm sitting here. But since it's larger, it's nicer to be able to see more of it. David says, Mark, finding it hard to pick up hobbies. Any suggestions to pass time? Well, the difficulty of that is always going to be time versus money versus commitment level versus like whether you want it physical or mental. There's so many kind of factors here. But let me ask you some questions while I'm opening these bags. And then you can answer those questions however you wish. And then we can see, as a group, we can see if we can come up with hobbies for you. So, do you have a lot of disposable income to throw into this hobby? First question is, are you rich? Not rich, but are you willing to spend big money on a hobby or not? And the other question is, are you after a physical thing? So do you want to combine exercise in this hobby, or are you after like more of a mental thing? Tawaka's got a good question there. Do you like creating things? Do you want a crafty, well, not crafty, do you want a creative hobby or a non-creative hobby? Because there's heaps of hobbies that are not creative as such, and more mastery than creation. That's also the line that kind of divides sport and art in a sense. They're both completely worthy hobbies, really interesting things, but you don't tend to have as much of the creativity thing in the sport. But you do have a lot more action and activity and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, and Tawaka, creating covers a lot of things. So it's like um, music and things like that as well. Medium-ish on the expendable income. Well, medium-ish as in ill-defined amounts of expendable income is what usually blows out into massive amounts of expendable income. So you want something, if you're talking about medium-ish, that means that you're going to want something where you don't spend much money at the beginning, but it turns into a rabbit hole where you could end up spending a whole lot of money later. I'm immediately going to like Warhammer. And so, you know, those games that I play, they're all like, oh, you only need like a few miniatures to start this. And later on, it's just like $5,000 later, you're like, oh, I appear to have a lot more than I need. You do like creating things, but you're 50-50 on the physical mental. Right. So if you're 50-50 on it, then I won't necessarily say go do something that's a purely exercise thing. But you might actually, like looking at where you are now, combination physical mental, with a bit of money to spend, and you do like creating things. I'm nearly gonna say photography, because you can start off not spending that much money on it. Taking photos just on your phone or something like that. The combination physical mental is you're going to want to get out there and take photos of things out in the world. So you're going to want to go for walks to find interesting things to take photos of. And the mental thing and the creative thing is like, how do I decide what to take a photo of, and how do I get that perfect look from where I am for something that I want to see or something that I want to show. So you could get there, and like the 50-50 money is just like hilarious, right? Because you start off with just your phone and you go, oh, I could take better photos if I put more money into this, and then you've got your rabbit hole, and then like, yeah, again, $5,000 later you've got a DSLR with custom lenses and all this kind of stuff, and you're like, oh oops, I think I was supposed to eat somewhere amongst this. What's Tuaka saying? To be fair, I don't think I'm going to be helpful in this convo. My current hobbies are children block game and monkey balloon. Yes, I do love the monkey balloon hobby though. I think that's quite funny. I haven't played that much balloons TD since we played last time, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. I'm going fast on this bit because it's like purely structural. It's easy for me to just talk while all I'm doing is like reinforcing a plate of Lego. But I don't know. Like I just picked photography out of nowhere. I'm sure there's going to be other hobbies that aren't the same as that, but are still interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. What do you do in your spare time? Games, mostly. Which ones? I watch monkeys pop balloons for an hour. Hey, that's fun. Don't ever get to the point where the thing that you're enjoying becomes like like all hobbies are embarrassing in a way that is like if you have a niche interest in something, then some idiot can make fun of it. But they're the idiot for making fun of it. And I don't think you or anyone else should have a problem with you watching monkeys pop balloons for an hour, because what you've done is you've found a thing that's interesting, and you've plumbed the depths of what you can do with it. You've kind of learnt about this system in balloons and learnt how to manipulate it to do things. All that stuff is really cool. Like you can do that in really what appear to be really simplistic things, but have all this extra depth in them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's super cool. Um, Oh, Dave was asking how I got into my miniature craft and things that I stream. So I had a group of friends and we were playing a lot of board games together. So that's also a great hobby, especially if you want to purchase a lot of things that you will never use. You can buy a lot of board games and then not get time to play them. There's even there's a UNSW society, the Tabletop and Role Playing Games Society. I think an old friend of mine started that something like 20 years ago or something like that. But I'm not sure if that's the current incarnation. Oh no, that wasn't that. Was that? Or was it like Star Trek Society or something? I can't remember. I don't know if Spock Sock still exists, but it was like the Nerd Society. But yeah, so a bunch of friends and I were playing board games, and like at one point, another friend of mine was like, "Hey, do you want to like branch out from just the board games into the miniatures games?" Heaps of the games we were playing had miniatures in them already, but we could go into like the full-on miniatures collecting side of things. And so we got into that, and it was like, well, these miniatures that we were playing with came in bare metal, and they didn't look very good in bare metal. So I said, let's get into this. Let's find out how to paint them, and we started painting them together and stuff, and then it snowballed. Like for me, I think that I had a really funny crossover point where I went to a tournament with these miniature games, and I lost every game I played, got the wooden spoon, and won best painted at the tournament, and it just like the hobby was going in a certain direction, and it just sent it off in a tangent, and then I became a miniature painting, what we would call a display painter, which is like this different thing where you're not actually painting just for games, but you're painting to show things off visually, like what they look like. And it was really interesting because when I crossed over into that, it was a whole different hobby. It was like a bunch of people being super paint nerds going, use this paint or this paint and these things for these things and stuff. And it's not functional anymore. And then you start to learn about like painting light, like how do you paint directional light, and how do you paint like realism, or how do you start using color theory to bring more interest into things, and composition of viewing angles and all this kind of stuff. And it was just like super, super interesting going deep into that. I've kind of pulled back from that in recent times because it's also a little bit of a stressful hobby because it's all about painting competitions and things. And I was like, I don't know if I want to keep competing with one of my hobbies. Like hobbies are supposed to be like a stress relief thing. So nowadays I tend to paint much more for I'm going to play games with things and I need to paint things to play games, but I'm still going to leverage everything I learned from spending ages doing things at super high quality. And even if I'm not going to, like, back then I would be like, I'd spend a month on one miniature just to get it really, really perfect. And now I've crossed over to like, nah, I'm going to spend like one day on one miniature and that'll be good enough. Hey Donna, how's it going? Wait, Tuaka's shameless plug. Oh, join Board Games and RPG Society. Not a shameless plug. Yeah, no, that's totally cool. You should. I met someone from that society. Wait. Oh, crap. What was his name? He was like a RPG DM, and I think he's one of the exec or something. Because I, it's quite funny. I went to a party at Dan Mansfield's house, and this person is, yes, Arnold. That's it. Yeah, he's I think he's babysitter. I think, and so he was at the party as well, and he was running a D&D game for the people at the party, which is really nice because there was a couple of people there who never played D&D, and so we were like, "You go play this," and it was really like they had a great time. So I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I played a game of Wingspan with Arnold, which is a pretty cool board game. Dan had recently bought the call it, the Oceanic add-on for that, so it was all like Australian animals and things. Well, not just Australian, but birds, but Australasian birds. I should actually show you the Lego as I'm building it. I'm just when I start talking lots, I'll get distracted, and the Lego doesn't actually appear. You see the instructions. That's where I'm up to. Yeah. Oh, you love Arnold. So I think Arnold's doing a lot of the DMing. I assume he's involved in the Titanicus, that gigantic multi-game world in the RPG Society. It seems like, having I only spent like one night with him. I don't know that much about him, but it seems like the kind of thing that he would get into. Oops. That looks like that. I think he was the original person who pitched it. Yeah, right, right. So it's basically managed by him, the Titanic. Because I can see that. Um, he looked like a really fun DM. I wasn't in his game because I wanted to make space for the people who'd never played before. Um, but it looked like you'd have a fun time with him as a DM. He's really getting into it and really kind of like putting a lot of his energy into making sure people had a great time. And that's kind of exactly what you want in a role playing games DM, is someone who's going to put the energy in for other people's enjoyment. Obviously, I have a big kind of um I take a lot of joy from seeing people do that, because obviously it's what I do as well. It's like you go real high energy for a short amount of time, push really hard, and then try to make sure that other people like have a lot of fun and enjoy what you're presenting to them. I think session 2 or 3 of Titanic was done by Arnold, and to date, it's the most memorable session you've had. Oh, that's cool, Tawaka. I'm glad that you're enjoying that. You were on his table, since there's like 20 people in the session, so multiple DMs. Yep. David asking if I like music, and if so, any favorite artists? Yes, I'm a big fan. Oh, you know what's something quite funny that happened to me the other day? My favorite K-pop group is a group called Stray Kids, and I actually originally found out about them because they have 2 Australian members, and there's like these 2 boys from Sydney, basically. And when I heard one of their songs, I heard like this straight out of like kind of northwestern Sydney accent, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, where does that come from?" Like when you're listening to K-pop, you're like, I don't expect that at all." And I was like, research them. I was like, "Oh, they're really cool," and they're getting bigger and bigger. They're now actually one of the biggest K-pop groups in the world. And I got really, really sad because they did an online stream of their concert. They're starting a world tour. They're online streaming their concert on Sunday, and I didn't know. And so I just missed it. I just sitting around at home not doing anything. I missed the concert. I was so devastated. And it was just kind of like, it was super weird because I was like, how did I not hear about this? Like, how can I be a fan of this group and like follow them on Instagram and other stuff. And then somehow I just completely missed the fact that they were going to be streaming one of the nights in Seoul for their tour. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Like, I've watched some bits of it on YouTube, but like maybe have to wait until they release it on DVD or something like that, and I can get a copy of it. I don't know why YouTube wanted to block that comment, David. You're showing compassion, and YouTube was like, "Does this need to be reviewed?" It's like, of course not. Anyway, and twice like you discovered you missed 2 album drops from some of your favorite artists that month. Yeah, I think it's quite funny. Yeah, I mean that happens. It's hard to like kind of always be in the loop with everything that's happening. But I was wondering if maybe I should like actually join a fan club or something like that, like not just like occasionally follow what they post on YouTube and stuff like that, but actually sign up for the mailing list on the bands that I like so that I know what's going to happen. I feel like that's probably not a bad idea, you know. But, you know, it'll be fine. I think one of the companies that I listen to, because like you know, like K-pop's a lot of like the companies and the producers behind the artists are very important. Like one of the companies that I listen to a lot of stuff of is JYP. I mean, I guess anyone who listens to K-pop is going to listen to a lot from JYP because they're like one of the biggest. I say they. It's like he. It's like it's one guy's initials, and he produces a lot of the stuff that these artists give put out. And twice another group from them, they went on tour. I think they've just finished a tour in the US just recently, and they also streamed the first night of their tour, and I missed that as well. I'm just like, wow, I'm not doing very well, and whatever I should be doing to stay in the loop with JYP artists, I'm obviously not doing it. So I'm missing out on uh, a lot of just like online streaming concerts, which are really easy to watch, you know, because you can just sit down with your dinner and watch a whole bunch of live music. Oh wait, I did that wrong. It's overhanging there. Yeah, but you know, I guess it's not that big a deal. Like, I do like watching live concerts though. I watched a fair bit of Coachella when it was there, and it's actually the stream's still up, so I think you can go back and watch it if you want. Um, and there were a few really cool moments there. I think I was talking about it here, right? Talking about the little 21 comeback, and then when I saw Gorillaz, yes, I did see that Psy is releasing music again. The song with Sugar from BTS, that's awesome. Very very much enjoying that. Um, and just like that, the classic Psy sound. And one of the songs that he's just released is something that he actually put together in like 2020, maybe. I think it was 2020 or even earlier. Um, and like the song "Celeb" that he did, and the music video was teased in I think it was early 2020, and then he just put off the whole album because it was like just during the pandemic. He just didn't want to release that music. He was like, "No, I want to wait till the pandemic's over before before trying to release his sort of like real upbeat, kind of happy, boppy kind of music that he does." And and so now he's releasing stuff that he's probably been working on for years now, and has had sitting there waiting to go. And I think he wanted to wait until more of the world was open and people were going on tour again and stuff like that before he released it. So it's like this kind of hiatus. Yeah, if you look up the song "Celeb," there's a there are YouTube videos from I think 2019, 2020, where there's just a like a potato camera like of the stream on stage somewhere else, of them showing it, like showing bits of the music video, and then it just disappears for years, and then the actual video has been released like just yesterday or the day before. So I think that's quite funny. But also I can see, because he's a bit of a party guy. Like he loves the big kind of boppy sound. I can see why he would want to um, not release that into a really depressive kind of like mindset that we would all have been in. It's that goes there. Meanwhile, still building Lego. Turns out I can build Lego and talk about K-pop at the same time. Man's got a record label to run. Yeah, no, he's been so busy, right? Because he's produced all the stuff that Jesse's been doing. Who else is on his label? Huna and Dawn are on his label as well, and they're doing some cool stuff. I like that he takes artists who are like not the cookie cutter artists and does interesting things. Ah, Nicole, you're there. I thought you might be there if we started talking about K-pop. Psy's so iconic. His music's made up so much of your early adolescence, so it's very nostalgic. Glad he's back producing stuff. Yeah, it's cool. Like I think I could still hear a bit of his kind of like um sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, his inspiration or his brilliance in some of the stuff that Jesse has been releasing. Um, but when you hear him release his own music, he's got a signature. It's like a lot of K-pop, a lot of the K-pop groups, a lot of the kind of, I don't know, I don't want to be mean to them, but these kind of second tier of K-pop groups, the ones that aren't as big and famous, they they start to sound really similar to each other. They're not able to really push their own sound. Whereas Psy's sound is like so distinct. Like no one sounds like him. When he does something, it's him. And so there's this kind of yeah, like his when his signature pops up, you're like, damn, that's totally him. And I think he's been able to kind of hold his position in that industry so well because he's so individual. This is kind of funny. This is definitely the backdrop now. I reckon seeing these bits, they're going to be in here. It's going to sit on there like that, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, his dance moves. I love his like hilarious kind of dorky dance moves that he does. They're so funny, but also yeah, super iconic. Like you just know it's him when it's happening. And I love how Sugar was able to match that, like able to work with Psy and keep Psy's signature sound while injecting a little bit of that BTS sound into it, which I think would have been very, very difficult. There's also, what's it called? Gunji, the one that he does with Jessie. I'm a big fan of Jessie because like I like her rap. She's got swagger. Um, that song is really cool as well. So off the new album, those are my two picks so far. But I haven't listened to the whole thing because has he released the whole thing yet? Maybe he has and I haven't noticed because it'll be on maybe it'll be on Spotify or something and I haven't looked. But I've just been like, like when I just like surf YouTube and just let a few things pop up, I've seen a lot of Psy popping up recently. Again, I'm eyeballing it to get perfect alignment on any single stud piece. bit there. Looks like I've got all of that. Funny as well. It's like if I get distracted, um, it'll be really funny if I just kind of miss an entire step of this. We won't even notice as well because it'll be like, it's all just like scenery. So even if I get stuff wrong, I reckon we'll get away with it. Yeah, you like Jessie as well? Yeah, Jessie's cool. I like her as well. She's just so like hilariously irreverent. She's like part of this new kind of like group of people who are not like the I don't know how I'd say it, like the kind of sanitized K-pop. Like there's a bunch of people in K-pop who are like straight down the line. They do exactly as they're told, and they always appear as this perfect kind of like well-crafted performers kind of thing, which is I don't know who I would say is the most typical of that kind of feeling. It's maybe like Twice or something, and there's a really really funny interview where on Jessie's show she interviews Twice, and she's just like just cracks up laughing at them. She's like, there's 9 of them, and she's like, so this is the young and pretty one, so's this one, and so's this one. You're all the young and pretty ones, so I can't tell you apart. That's it, you're all the same person. It's just like, it's so funny. And it's like her and, it's like on the talk shows and stuff, her and Hwasa from Mamamoo and, who else? Hyori from, like one of the veterans of K-pop kind of thing. And them just like speaking openly and honestly about things. And it's really quite funny. They're all just like, yeah, I'm old now. I don't get the whatchamacallit, I don't get the advertising I used to when I was younger and stuff, and I just got to deal with it, right? It's quite funny. Hyori had a really cool TV show as well. Have you heard of Hyori's Guest House? This is her and her partner when they live on Jeju Island, which is I think the like the one holiday destination in South Korea. And they have people come and stay with them on their guest house, and they would just kind of look after them. It's just really weird for people to like stay in a holiday house that is like run by super K-pop celebrities, and they would get people to come in and help them run the guest house. And it was like, who was it? It was one of the Girls' Generation. I can't remember if it was Taeyeon or someone else. No, it wasn't. It was, I can't remember who it was. Well, it's like one of the like super famous people from Girls' Generation, and another person was IU, who is like, just like as big as Psy in terms of like, solo performers in K-pop. And it's like, imagine going to a guest house and having like a full-on superstar cook food for you. You're just like, what's going on here? You'd be like, I can't allow this. Aren't you supposed to like have a whole company just following you around doing things for you? What are you doing cooking for like random people? All right, where's this stuff going? I think down here. I'm not sure, Mitchell. I don't know if they knew that celebs would be there or not. I know I saw some of them just massive double take when IU turned up. They were like, what? Whereas, like, I think they knew that they had, because, like, I think they get screened before they're allowed to stay there. So I think they knew that they were staying at Hiyori's house. So they knew they were staying at one big K-pop star's house. But then they just dropped this bomb. It's like one of the biggest current stars in K-pop just turns up there and is like literally like the house servant to look after them. And it's like, what is happening? Yeah. So I think it's pretty funny. I think it's on Netflix. I think you can just watch it. It's actually really kind of wholesome as well. because what's his name? Sang-sun, Hiyori's husband, is like, he's so wholesome. He's just such a really really nice guy. And so it's just really cute having him there looking after people and stuff. David's gonna go look for hobbies. Ah, nice. See if you enjoy potentially getting into photography, but no pressure, right? You know, that's the whole point of hobbies, no pressure. So if you don't like it, just ditch it, you know? Ditch it and look for something else. Because I think that the whole point of hobbies is it's supposed to give us this good feeling, relaxing, let us kind of do what we want. Once it starts putting pressure on you and stuff, I think then, you know, it feels like work. So you find where you want to be, and hopefully it'll be nice. But see you soon, and hopefully looking into photography is something that's interesting, and then you can get into it, which would be cool. But photography, remember, was a generic suggestion. No, no pressure to actually take it up. That one going there. Good luck, have fun, David. Making sure I've got all of these pieces. Put one of them on, one of them on. I have not put one of them on. Where do you go? Alright, over here. There's one there. Two there. Okay, good. We are making our way. First one of these clear rods. This is an indication there's going to be a ship on the end of this one. Oh wait, wrong way. Pointy end in. Stud outside. Yeah, I can tell that these bits are going to get attached to the backdrop because they're starting to get these double reinforced sections. All right, end of bag 4. We have what most certainly looks like the start of a backdrop. Don't know if it's finished yet, but we're getting there. It looks like bag 5 is going to add to that backdrop. So still working on that piece. So, got my little collection of spares over here. Let's go to bag 5. There's not many pieces left in this kit, so we're definitely going to finish. It's only 10:45. Not as late as I've been on other streams, but I'm definitely committed to finishing this. I really want to finish it tonight. Oh, the trick will be, will it still be May the 4th when I finish? So I have to do this before midnight. It'll still be May the 4th somewhere else in the world, though. No pressure. Oh, actually, an hour and a quarter? I would definitely finish this looking at how many pieces are left. So, can't quite see that. That's bag 5. You can see there's not that many pieces compared to what I've needed for some of the other parts of it. So, we'll get there. We'll get there. See you, Donna. Yeah. Tomorrow's Revenge of the Fifth. That's Star Wars related. Actually, the whole month now is This Is the May. Now that the Mandalorian has gotten really big and popular, we can do This Is the May, and we'll have the whole month. Okay, get all this stuff back here so you can see it. Alright. More of those little caps. Oh no, wait, we're building this thing first. I would love to put on some music, but I cannot. Another group I've been listening to heaps, another K-pop group, is Edel. They've only just released an album just, I don't know, it was like a week ago at most, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I've been playing that a bit, but yeah, obviously YouTube does not like it if I start playing music that's copyrighted to someone else. Even though I'm not monetized, I don't know what would happen, actually. Like, you can't demonetize something when someone's not monetizing it. But, I don't know. I think it's better just not to. Or they actually do monetize it then, and then they give the ad revenue to the people who created it, which is totally fine. But it's probably just safer and more convenient if I just don't use someone else's copyrighted material in the streams. Ooh, wow. Okay. There's a large and convoluted piece that I'm building there. I'm going to put this thing off to the side. Push the instructions up a little bit so you can see what I'm building. Two of these. Some of these. Caps in between. Haha. The rods. I'm pretty sure these are the things that are going to hold the back onto the base. Well, there's only one of them. Wonder if that's a problem. We'll find out later. Maybe the other one is this other rod. They're both the same type but different lengths. Okay, so we got this piece, which is this. That attaches to this. Another piece. This goes on the other side. Oh wait, this is its own sub-assembly. Lego's so satisfying. I think it's like it comes together as something that you build at a pace, like a particular speed that just makes it very, very satisfying. Because it's like, I know like other things like my miniature painting is a much slower pace. Like, it takes you a lot longer. Like, I would not have half a diorama done if I'd just been doing that stuff tonight. Like, I would have half of one mini painted and something. But Lego goes together at a pace that makes you feel like a quicker sense of achievement in what you're doing. I guess it's just like the simplicity of piecing it together. Like, I'm not gluing things, I'm not having to sand or cut things to size or anything like that. It's just like out of the bag and squish it together. So there's something very kind of, I don't know, it's at a satisfying tempo of creation. That's the correct thing. Two things on the end there. Mitchell, yeah, you love building Lego, but have no idea what to do with it after because like it just takes up space. Yeah, it takes up space and it gathers dust. I should show you maybe later on Discord. I'll show you photos of some of my kits that are literally just like they're a different color now than they were when I built them because of the dust on them. So it just yeah. I also don't know what to do with it. Like I enjoy the building, but I don't need the kit afterwards. And it'd be so funny if you'd be like, "Hey, I'm selling this built Lego kit," and people would be like, "So, you've extracted all the fun from this thing, and now you want to sell it?" It's like, yeah, totally. You want to buy it? It's like it's such a funny thing, right? Because it's not the finished product is cool. It's cool to see that finished product exists, but it's kind of only cool when you built it. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, it's just a thing. That's great. Good for you. But when you've built it, you go, I'm happy with this thing that I created. So I think, yeah, the majority of the joy in Lego is in the building of it. I don't need another diorama in my house. Like I build them as one of my hobbies. So they're taking up enough space as it is. But this I had to do. I just had to. It just looked like a lot of fun. So it's yeah, it is funny, and I do 100% agree. Like after you build the Lego, it's like what is this for now? Like, what are we gonna do with this? I'm just lucky. I know that I've got a little bit of shelf space that I can put this on. See you, Tawaka. Sleep well. Oh, it is a school night, isn't it? I just forget these things because I don't neither school nor work at the moment. Alright, that's that bit there. Move this over so you can see what I'm working with. That is one of these. It's so funny having my camera as my phone. So I think someone just sent me a message because it vibrated, but then I can't actually read it. Mitchell, you're saying, yeah, sometimes you feel like you should take them apart and build it again, but you can never. Yeah, no, I can't be bothered. I think it's kind of like, why would I bother recreating something that I've already created? So I think they just go on display and eventually they get covered in dust. And then, like, maybe sometimes I will dismantle them, but if I do that, I'll pack them away and I'll never build them again. So it's like, yeah, it's weird. We just accumulate these sculptures in a sense, and then we end up with too many of them. But, there's joy in it, so I keep doing it. Although, honestly, I haven't built a lot of Lego the last few years, so I figured this is an okay purchase for me. I used to build it all the time. Alright, so now we've got this piece in here. This backboard is starting to look very populated, which is pretty cool. To the side again, build this little Hey, we did get one of them. The iconic block. I wasn't sure at this scale whether we would see one, but we did. It's like a rule that you can't release any Lego kits without at least one of those in it. And I don't know if that's the case, but it would be funny. That is going on here. We've got another sub-assembly of Techno Griblies. Don't know which way this should be. Also, it's probably not super important. This piece. I keep getting freaked out by this patch of glue here that I've like accidentally just dropped my Lego in glue, but it's been like at least I think a week since I did this particular gluing with the epoxy resin, so I'm pretty sure I'm safe there. But I keep looking at it and seeing the Lego pieces in it, and just for a moment in the back of my head freaking out that I've covered them in resin. Right. Bits that don't actually connect, but look like they do. Maybe, Mitchell, this is like the perfect thing that you can just watch me build Lego and then you don't have to. I don't know though. I still think getting your hands on them is part of the fun, you know. Just the little grabbing and adjusting bits and stuff like that. Yet again, wanting to line these things up perfectly. It's onto here. Right, that's gonna go. It's that sitting. Oh, right. There's two grippers here. Oh, and two here. So it's gonna snap into those. And these here. Cool. Cool. Ooh. Ooh. We are attaching ourselves. That's cool. Alright. So this is going here. Right, there's actually some pieces here to actually attach to studs there. So that's the first bit is going to vaguely hold itself in place. This is looking pretty cool now. So, attach the studs there, but it is now going to use these two rods in the back there to pin it in so that it has some strength in the hold there. All right, pushing that into place. It's feeling quite secure there. There's a lot of friction in that hold. All right. I can shake that around, and it's quite steady. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. Getting close to being done. I don't know why they were different colors, but they were different lengths. So, the grey one is shorter than the brown one. And I don't know why they were different. They really could have done this with two identical lengths, but for some reason they did it different. And I guess they're different colors so that you can differentiate the two lengths that you're going to need to push in there. But yeah, that feels a little unnecessary, but nothing wrong with it. It's still looking cool. Yeah, because they're like going, look, there's a brown one, there's a grey one. Put the brown one in here and the grey one in there. If they'd done two of identical lengths, I still think it would have worked. But you know, maybe they're different just because of the layout here, and they wanted at least one of them to be longer. I don't know. There's not that much difference in length. I don't see that being particularly stronger than that. But you know, that's how it is, and it's working. So, going to let it be what it is. Right, gonna move all of these things over because they're all now spares. I love there's a spare of like the big brick. Um, over here with you, and we are actually onto the final bag. You're saying maybe it's because it's hard to take the small piece out if you put in the bigger one. So put the colors so you don't have to mistake. Yeah, if you'd gotten one in the wrong one, either you'd have a pin hanging out the back, which would be annoying. You'd have to pull it back out, or you'd put the small one in and it didn't go all the way in, so it's not as secure, and you wouldn't even know because there'd just be like a gap inside it that you'd not seen. Okay, final bag number 6, and I'm pretty sure this is the fun bit because this is going to be the actual ships on the diorama. So let me just put this aside for the moment and get these bits out, build the little ships, and then we'll attach them to the diorama, and that will be it complete, I think. Actually, no, it's not just going to be the ships. I think it's also going to be like a gun turret that covers up the pink and orange stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, chicken. I think I woke her up by I put the plastic bag in the ground and it kind of rolled over and crinkled a bit, so she got excited for a second. What is it, Chicky? Oh, look at the little snoozy face. She's just like, do I get up? I don't know. Those pieces over there, and these 2 bags of little pieces I'll open up here. Oh no, she's over it. She's like, I go back to sleep. You're boring. She's always like this when I stream. Like if I get up and walk around, she'll follow me around and meow at me and stuff. But when I'm sitting down in my chair, she's just like, no, you're boring. Okay. Ooh, there's a special printed ones that I think are things like cockpits and stuff that actually looks like R2D2's head. So I think this is going to go on the X-wing. But there'll be other of the same shape here. Oh, I think it's actually this clear one. This clear one here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. Yeah, if I get it to reflect the light, it's that kind of shape that is the TIE Fighter cockpit. So it's such a small scale that the TIE Fighter cockpit is actually just one stud. Oops, that's not the piece. This is not the piece that I'm looking for. How cool is this? Lasers. Pew pew. Pew pew. Get them nice and parallel. Pew pew. Pew pew. Yeah, could totally make lightsabers with stuff in this kit very easily. So simple, TIE Fighter wings. Honestly, that something so simple with so few pieces actually looks really good for a TIE Fighter. That's really cool. That one goes on the bottom corner of the diorama here. Oh, oh. It's a premonition of things to come. The wing came off it. Pretty sure one of these does blow up in this scene. There we have first little ship in the diorama. Looking very cool. Prashant, thank you very much. I am enjoying my mullet. I can't remember when I got the haircut. It was like last week or the week before. I think it was like it had to be last week. Doesn't stay this fresh um for very long. Like it'll grow out like immediately. See you later, Nicole. Thanks for dropping by. It is getting pretty late, but I'm so close to the finish. We're gonna do this. You just noticed my moulet image. Got it. Just updated recently. Oh, I should have. Very classy. Thank you very much. Put the instructions closer so that you can see what I'm building because I don't think there's not actually that much space needed to see everything at the moment because I'm building only these small parts. Pretty sure this is Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, the first TIE Advanced, I think, that we're building. And it also has pew pew lasers. Thanks, Mitchell. My haircut is classy. It's not that classy. Building the angular wings of the TIE Advanced. I don't know if this one's actually called a TIE Advanced. I know that later on, the there were like advanced TIE fighters that were based off this but weren't exactly this. So I don't know if this is the TIE Advanced prototype. So that can go on one side. Build the other one. Yeah. I think it's obligatory. Obligatory to make the noises now. Alright, where does this one go? Goes there, which is on this piece. So we have the two TIE fighters flying in formation there. I think there's going to be a third TIE fighter attaching to the to that piece there. Yep, definitely building another TIE fighter here. That one. Bits. Looks like this one isn't pew-pewing. Because I can see on my table that there's no no green laser rods left. I love how simple the TIE fighters are. Sad. There's no more pew-pews. Having said that, also kind of cool in the diorama if it's a little asymmetric and they're not all firing. Standard TIE fighter. Just trying to line that up perfectly. Looks like it's probably okay. And that is indeed attaching to that. Pretty cool little squadron flying in there. I think that looks pretty cool. Alright, now looking at this, we are definitely building a gun turret now. And this is going to cover up the put this back here so you can see it. It's going to cover up the pink and orange parts that were the mechanisms. There we go. So we've got the base of the turret coming up there. Here. One of these on top. It goes on there. This to the side for a moment because we are building the sub-assembly, which is going to be the little cannons bit of the turret. What are you doing, chicken? Come to investigate? She just hopped off her chair there and is sniffing around all of the empty Lego bags. Should actually move the instructions a bit so you can see them. They just cover up the bits and pieces, so it's harder to find them when I do that. Oh, hi, Jaden. Don't think I will be coming back to you, honestly. Things got real hectic there. There was just so much work to do and not enough time or support to do it. And so it just kind of felt like, yeah, you know what? I can do good work elsewhere. So I think it'd be a matter of if UNSW was to change the way they work with their staff, then I probably wouldn't have a problem coming back. But I really don't see them doing that anytime soon because they're not really. I don't think they see a problem. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe some of them do. But yeah, until then, I'm going to take a job that is much more chill, much more time to kind of live your life and things rather than getting completely consumed by your work. Would I consider tutoring, Mitchell? Yeah, I would. I have been thinking about whether I want to just just start teaching people privately, so it's like a completely one-on-one thing. So there's no university to force me into doing things a particular way or anything like that. Like I just teach people what they want to know. I'd have to figure out how I would do things in terms of pricing and timing and stuff like that, and how many students I think I could take. But yeah, I would think about doing something like that. Okay, here's that little gun turret. I don't know what angle to put it on, but I don't want to put it flat on because I think it's cooler if it's turning. Yeah, so that's an option. And I could think about actually doing that instead of going for a job somewhere. Instead of going for a job working for someone else, I could actually just work for myself. So I'll think about it. No, no promises yet. I'm actually still in a kind of a chill out mindset. So I haven't pushed myself to try to do anything yet. But of course, if you want to, Mitchell, just hit me up. Do you have me on Discord? Or are you on my Discord? Because you can find me via that. Send me a message, and like if and when I want to start things up, I'll let you know, and we'll see how it will work. No promises yet, but like you might as well hit me up so at least you're on my radar. All right, so we've got this thing here, which I'm not sure what that is. I think it might be the flight stand that the X-Wing will sit on. Alright, building the X-Wing, which is feeling to me like it's going to be the last piece of this kit. Oh, what is it, little one? I don't know if you heard that, but she just beeped. She was like, hang on. I'll wait until she jumps up, and I'll move the camera. I have a Discord. Wait, let me send you a link. This is the Discord that I run, which is part of this channel. Otherwise, I think you can even find me via CSC Sock and other Discords that I'm on, as X part of UNSW stuff. And you can find me on those, but if you want to, you can hop on the Discord that's attached to this channel, and then you can kind of get in touch with me personally there if you want. All right, here's Chicken sitting here. Let me just adjust the camera. Just looking straight at the camera. Hello, little one. Did some cuddles, didn't we? Yes, Mark cheers me. Yeah. I always tell her when she's feeling snuggy, because she's just like, she squishes her eyes and she's like enjoying that little head rub. Yes, aren't you? Little happy little bug. She's like standing on me. Can you see that? Just like, yeah, I want more. But I have Lego to build. What a conundrum. What are we going to do with this situation? Oh yeah, this is the bit with the little R2-D2 head. Tiny little single stud R2-D2 head. Actually, I'll move this over so you can see it. There. Can't see Chicken anymore though. I wonder if I can move Chicken Cam further over. No, not really. It's just balanced precariously on my keyboard. I'll build the Lego one-handed so you can see Chicken. Putting these cool little crystal pieces in, which are the jets at the back of the X-Wing. There. Then they're going to attach to this. Like so. wings. What's this one? I don't know if you can hear her purring. Probably not, right? I assume even the noise reduction is probably cutting out the purring, but it's very cute. Yet more lightsaber bits. I don't know these bits if they're like ski poles or something, or they were custom made for this kit, but it doesn't feel like it. Two of these. I assume it's the upper and lower wings. They do kind of look custom, don't they? They don't look like I don't think a ski pole would have that tapered bit there like that. I do love the sheer number of lightsabers there are in this kit. There's so many of them. One of them goes on the up, and the other one flips over and goes on the lower. So that's the one set of the four wings. Yeah. I don't usually expect Lego to do custom pieces. And they also have not, I think, in any other situation, made an X-Wing on this scale. So I do wonder whether it's part of another kit or something. Because that there, you could hold that in a hand in terms of making this like a ski pole, but this tail end of it here doesn't look ski poley very much. Oh, they are ski poles, right? Oh, did you look them up and see them in other things? Like the front tip definitely looks ski pole, and the size is about right for a minifig ski pole. Here's the last of those white pieces. I wonder if it's underneath something. Oh, it's right here. I'd already I'd already prepped that. Jake's asking, just curious, how was it like being a uni lecturer? That's a very big question. So on the one hand, it was really rewarding on the one hand, because what I was doing was um, helping a lot of people learn. Especially, I I grew very attached to helping people learn about computing for the first time, and that felt like a purpose. That felt like I was doing something that was really important. See you later, chicken. Where are you going? All right, I'll turn off chicken cam for a bit. Yeah, that felt like something that was like really meaningful and something that I was supposed to be doing. It felt like you get that sense of purpose. It was so much work though. Like it was a what I would call an unsustainable amount of work. Um, and so it wore me down to the point where it was just not really not really possible to continue. And so that was like, in a nutshell, I think that's what it's like being a lecturer. You have, on the one hand, this amazing kind of like fulfillment of purpose. Like, you think about what you're doing and you go, this is important and this is the right thing to do, and what I'm doing is like, I am like, like different jobs, you have a different level of feeling like what you're doing is truly meaningful. In that job, I felt like I was doing something that was important for the world, and so it felt like I was doing something that I would care about. Later in life, I'd look back and go, I shifted perspective for a lot of people's way of thinking about the world, and I helped a lot of people get what they wanted. Start moving towards a future that they wanted for themselves, and so that feels super good, right? But at the same time, I got loaded up with so much stuff and then put into a system where progression was just kind of held back. It was just like, I worked for 3 years at a really serious level. UNSW just kind of like, they just put enough of a barrier in front of you so you just don't get promoted. And then it's like, I mean, as it was, they hired me below the level that I was working, and I'd already been working there as a casual before that. So I was like, I had this kind of like, already had this kind of resentment for the way I was being treated. And then I just got piled up with so much work again and again and again, and it always felt like I was isolated. It felt like no one gave a shit about what I was doing, which is deeply, deeply awkward, right? Because for you, I think for many of the students, it was very much like you knew what effect I'd had, and the students were telling me what I was doing was important and things like that. But the company, because I have to call them a company, because they're about making money doing this thing, was just going to squeeze as much as they could out of me without paying me properly for what I was doing. And it's really funny because they didn't pay me properly until I quit. Like, I had to quit and just go, these are the reasons I'm leaving. And when I did that, they were like, oh, looking at the reasons why you're leaving, you've actually been working at a higher level than you were paid for the last 2 years. So we have to give you 2 years worth of back pay at a higher level. And I was like, yeah, I know I told you that. And it was just like, and then after that, they were like, oh, actually, we're not even going to promote you to the next level. You have to then now take your time, put in an application to apply to be promoted. So I'm saying, you acknowledge that I've already worked at this level for 2 years, but you still, like, even after back paying me, you're not going to give me that position. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm out. I don't think I've actually spoken about this that much, especially not publicly. But yeah, that was like that. Jake, is the experience of being a lecturer. There's a fair bit of like, actually, the funny thing about this is, I think Tharanka wanted to interview me about this. They spoke to me and they said, would you be willing to talk about this? And I didn't. Because I was like, kind of like, I wasn't sure. I was like, do I need to get my messaging really clear if this is going to go out to the university and go out really publicly like that? Or do I want to be careful about burning my bridges and stuff like that? And I never did the interview. I mean, I still could. I could still ring them up and just go, hey, want me to burn you in SW? But I never did. Oh, sorry, I should be building on camera. And yeah, so it didn't end well. And like, when I left, I really still felt like there's so many things I could have been doing for people. There are so many people whose lives I could still help with what I was doing, but UNSW put me in a position where I couldn't do that and keep my mental health. And so it was very, very sad for me, because it was like where I wanted to be, and I wanted to do good things, and I was doing good things. Like, I was getting good feedback from students, and I won a teaching award from UNSW. Deeply ironic. I won the teaching award as I was quitting. And yeah, and so that just all kind of fizzled like that, and it was sort of like, it was pretty sad. And so I still haven't worked since then. I left in January, and I only recently, only in the last couple of weeks, have I started being able to sit down and be a human. Like, I've been able to be like I have had these moments where I'm in the middle of like hanging out with friends or just playing computer games or something like that, and a switch flicks in the back of my head and goes, get to work. Like, it's a violent kind of switch flicks in the back of my head and goes, you must have something you need to do. Surely right now you have to stay up until 4 a.m. prepping lectures for tomorrow, or you have to answer like 100 emails that have just come in over the last week. There's something that you have to be doing, because that's the level of like where I'd been working at, like 7 days a week for 2 years, actually 3 years, because I did 3 years at UNSW. First year as a casual wasn't quite as bad, but it was in some ways. Like, I knew even then that I should leave. Like, after the first year as a casual, it's like, I really should leave. This is not a good job. And then I got offered the permanent position. I was like, oh, I should take this. This is good. This is like a reward. Not realizing that it wasn't at all a reward. I should have been offered the permanent position when I arrived, not been casual for a year. Like, I'm a seasoned professional. I don't take casual gigs, And so I was disrespected by UNSW from the beginning as a casual. And then I got hired as like an assistant lecturer, which I worked as for 2 years, like associate lecturer, not supposed to be in charge of a subject on my own. That was the level I was hired at. And I was like, I'm so far above that level. And you just don't even they just didn't respect that. And so it was just kind of like, oh, well. And it was like, that was considered normal for the industry to act like that. And so I was like, if that's the case, then the education industry is not for me, because you do it wrong. So I'm going to have to go and find another industry to be a part of, one that will respect me. Yeah. So yeah, that's I should probably let that go. Or I should record this particular part of the thing and then send it to Tharanka and go, okay, here's the interview that you wanted. I will now spill the tea. Yeah, I feel like it's just late at night. I'm talking about this now. Yeah, so we're in chat. So Jake, that's where we are. And Zara saying every lecture you've spoken to has a similar sentiment. Yeah, I think it's like that. Mitchell says, yeah, that's definitely had a big impact for you. I'm glad I had a big impact for you. I think it's important that I did. No idea what the heck you were doing getting into the degree. So what it's worth, thanks. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I did it for people like you, because I know what it's like to just sort of drop yourself into something and just be like, I've got no idea what I'm doing here. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I tried to quit my computing degree, my software engineering degree in my second year, because I was just like, I just don't feel this. I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. And so that, like, I teach for people who are having those troubles, and I'm trying to help them. I think that's important. Zara said, have you considered doing volunteering for helping vulnerable high school students or something like that? I have. Yes. I actually was talking to one of my ex-students who, obviously, as before, I'm not going to name people, who's been having a lot of trouble because of trying to work in the trimester system with needing, like, being in a situation where you would be easily successful if you could just spread the things out a little bit over more time and just lower the pressure a little. That was what that's what this kind of situation is for a lot of people. And I was thinking that I know enough about the way that UNSW works to negotiate on people's behalf to get their special considerations sorted, and to tutor people so that they can do a course instead of over the 10 weeks, over like 14, 15 weeks, which would line up with when a supplementary exam would be, and just stretch it out over time so that it works for people. And trying to maybe offer that as a service. But I just don't know. I think it would be expensive because it's a lot of hands-on time for me to make that work, or maybe I'd hire some of my ex-tutors to work with me on that or something like that. And like, try to do something, because I think what I always wanted to focus on was people who would otherwise fall through the cracks, and through no fault of their own, through the fault of the way that the university system's very much like, just do this thing and you have to do it this way, like the way that our terms are is like, if you can't pick up competency in 9 weeks, you are deemed not competent in something, even if you could have done it if you just had a bit more time to focus on it, a little bit more time for the education to marinate in your brain, and then you're fine. And heaps of people are fine like that, they go on to like happy careers in fields, but like, if you don't get through this one particular little crucible, then you just don't make it. So I was wondering if I could do something like that to help people, but also wondering if I can do that and like make enough money doing that to live, which I think is one of the shittiest things. This is when you go out there and you try to find something, where you think you could do great things for the world, and at the same time you're kind of like, well, still need to buy food, like I know how to do these things, but I don't know exactly how to monetize them or anything. And that's the big thing, because for me, the idea of monetizing things is fucking dirty. Just the feeling of it is dirty. To personally monetize my skills. That's why I've always kind of worked for a salary instead. I'm not an entrepreneur. I think I'm someone who wants to deliver a service and wants someone else to consider that service to be worth supporting. And if I'm trying to help people who are at a disadvantage already, if I then put them at a further disadvantage by charging them a lot of money to do it, then am I even helping? So that's one of the things I've been thinking about the last few months as I've been just sort of recovering from working at UNSW and thinking about, from what I've learned there, if I still want to make the world a better place, which I do, I've definitely not given up on that idea. That how do I do it in a way where I can do this as like my full-time job and still make enough money to be like, I'm okay doing this, because I don't have enough money to retire. I looked that up. Pretty funny. I actually, when I was wanting to leave UNSW, I looked up how much was in my super, and it's like, can I just leave? Can I retire? And I'm just like, no, Mark, you're not a tech millionaire. How the fuck do you think you could just retire at the age of 40? So it's like, yeah, not going to happen. But yeah, so I need to figure out if that's something that I would push towards or not. So, unlikely, but we'll see how we go. So Mitchell's saying, yeah, definitely something you find annoying with UNSW. Time frame for courses makes it feel like you like learning for it. Yeah, it's like you're learning for exams rather than learning for the sake of learning. Yeah, I think there's this kind of pressure and compression that's happened at UNSW. The lecturers and the teaching staff have not yet been able to react completely to that pressure and redo the courses so they actually make sense. So instead, it's very much like it's still this pressure cooker where the courses are compressed versions of themselves rather than having been designed for the 9 weeks. So graphics was actually like one of the first things I did, which was designed for the 9 weeks, not compressed into it. But even that felt compressed. It felt like it was too much stuff I tried to squeeze in. So the idea of what is in a course, what is in a batch of things that people should learn in one go, I don't think fits into 9 weeks, unless what you do is you go even shorter and you teach much less. So you go one assignment half, like say the first half of Comp 1511 to one assignment, and you do that in like 7 weeks or something, and then the second half of the course we introduce the memory management, the pointers, all that stuff, which is the harder version, not harder version, the harder next step is like another 7-week thing or something, then you could do it like that maybe. Yeah, Mitchell's saying like a lot of stuff is cut out. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Okay, so here we have the X-Wing completed. After that, I love that. Jake, you just came in with like one comment, fully triggered me. And then I went off on a massive thing for a while. But I'm going to get back to the Lego because I said I was going to finish it on May the 4th. And so this goes in here. And I think that actually is the end of the diorama. It goes in an angle like that. Okay. Let's get the camera here. And here we have, I might just angle this one a little. The trench run diorama. So that's pretty cool. We've got that X-Wing there doing some kind of, Luke's doing a maneuver to get away from that turret, being chased by 3 TIE fighters that are shooting at him. Very cool. Very cool. I'm very happy with this. I think it looks really cool. I'm wondering with those pieces that are left there. See this spot here? This blank set of 8? I wonder if there's supposed to be something there, and I've missed it. Oh, there totally is! There totally is, and it's made up of these pieces here that was spare. Let me go back and find it. I was like, why is there a gap there? That's a little weird. Alright, I'm seeing it here. Got to be a little bit further back. I feel like I built that. I built another piece just like it. Oh, maybe there was a ×2 on one of those things that I built. Here, ×2! ×2! There we go. So, this was not a spare, and you wouldn't get a piece this big as a spare. That's so funny. It's like, why is there just like this big gap? Alright. There we are. And it's like so. And it fits. Like, you can just see it. Like, see that big gap? And it's like, we've got pipes that are supposed to connect to it. Alright, there we go. There we go. Now it looks... It doesn't have an obvious gap in the diorama anymore. Okay, cool. There it is. I actually might turn this way. So it's like tracking the X-Wing. That's heaps of fun. It's a really cool diorama. I'm going to put this up on my bookshelf next to the... it's actually the Marc on Monday's bookshelf now. It's got stuff in it that I have built on stream. So I'm going to collect all the stuff I built on stream and put it all together in one display area. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Do the guns move up and down? Which guns? These ones? I think they do. Oops. But they do. They do swivel. They do swivel unless I pull them entirely off the diorama. Yeah. That's sweet. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That's cool. Alrighty. I'm going to wrap it up there. Turn my light off. There's Chicken. Oh, hello. She's down there, but she's not... I don't think she's anywhere where I can get a camera on her right now. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for joining me for my May the 4th stream. It was a lot of fun building a cool little Lego kit, which you can see the overall size of it here. It is not too big. It's a nice little diorama that I can put on display somewhere. Actually, kind of was tempted to make one of these myself out of plastic and do the X-Wing miniatures game minis. Ah, look! There's Chicken making an appearance. You're having a little... Oh, yes. She's in a feisty mood right now, so she wants to fight the, What are we doing? Are we fighting the pillar? Yes, we're gonna scratch the pillar. Alright. I'll wrap it up there. Thank you all for coming along. It is midnight anyway. We should go to bed. I'm not gonna go to bed. I'm gonna play computer games. But anyway. Thanks for coming along. Thank you for joining me on the diorama build and listening to my continuing rants at the state of higher education in Australia. And good luck to you all. Mark on midnight next week. We'll see about that. I'll just like stop stream and then start it up again at midnight and be like, "Woo, Mark on midnight," and then we'll just like do something else. We'll play games or something. No, that's not gonna happen. Oh, hi Jenny. I didn't realize you were there. How's it going? All right, I'm wrapping up. Thank you all, and I will see you next week.